All right, all right, all right. So we were talking about Inside Man. Speaking of Denzel Washington, it's the first time we're gonna do a stream about a movie where he's the main character, which is a pretty pretty big surprise. 29 episodes, never did a Denzel Washington film, and now I'm sitting here and I'm thinking why. it's, it's
Maybe
crazy.
hold the idea of a training day at least once.
So
No, that's not impossible. Wait, we've certainly had to. Even on the episodes that I've been on, I feel like maybe that's fun.
I mean,
Training Day?
not necessarily in love with the character and the story, but like the way he plays the character in Training Day. Oh, wow, dude, that's just phenomenal acting.
And that's the thing. Yeah, I think he's just a fantastic actor. I think he might be the best, at least the top 5 of the greatest actors living today, living and working.
Ooh,
yeah, I would actually agree. Papi said something
Internationally, so too.
Yeah. You were saying something in the green room a few days ago. You were comparing him to Steve McQueen. So when you say something like that, what is it that you mean when you say, "Hey, yeah, he's the Steve McQueen of the late '90s, early 2000s," or whatever you want to say?
Yeah, which I
what
definitely
exactly do you mean?
rephrase.
Yeah.
So here's what it is. To me, it makes sense because I speak my own language.
Okay.
Steve McQueen means so much to the world of acting and Hollywood in general. So when I think of Steve McQueen, I'm not talking about his cool guy persona, which is probably what other people hear when I say that statement. It's more so what he brought to the screen that most actors weren't really doing at the time. And you can watch, I want to say it was pretty consistent throughout his career, any movie or TV show, and watch what he's doing even when he doesn't have any speaking lines, even when he's not the main event. You can't take your eyes off of him. He's so charismatic, but on top of that, he actually lives within the scene. So if there's a prop, he's using the prop like a real life person that fits that character would use the prop. And up until him, I'm hard pressed to think of any other actor that was doing that. And now it's something we take for granted. So when I think of Steve McQueen, I think of him as the question was, is he a race car driver pretending to be an actor, or is he an actor pretending to be a race car driver? Because he very much was this physical man. And it portrayed so well on screen for many different reasons, but a lot of that is skill. And it's something that we, unless you really know how to look for it, you really miss when you're looking at modern day actors.
I agree with you completely, man. Would you say Denzel still has it?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think he's Steve McQueen cool for different reasons. He definitely has a different energy and personality about him. But he, and I think it's because of his stage experience. I don't know how familiar you are with his career, but he started on Broadway. I mean, before Broadway,
it's a
he
lot.
did theater.
Yeah, theater is physical acting. It's a lot of in person and movements, and especially just in this movie, you see how Denzel. There's little moments where you realize it's the way he uses a prop and his movement. It carries huge into what's happening. It's huge, especially with the. I'm not gonna blow it. I'm gonna wait till we start the movie, but I got a special moment that relates to that.
Yeah. So I think we're talking about very similar things. It's just when I watch a movie, when I'm paying attention to acting, I like the little idiosyncrasies. Like Christopher Walken, even though he's in this movie, he doesn't do what he typically does. Is he like takes all the punctuation marks out of the script and he performs it? And that's it. That's where you get the Christopher Walken talk. I don't know if you ever knew that, but he's like, I had to stand out when I was trying to get parts. So the way that I did it was I took the punctuation marks out of my script and I just spoke it. And
Are
that's where you
the
get
are
the
the, are the, are the rumors actually true that the speech which Creasy's art is death, it's actually improvised? Is
That's
it true?
beautiful.
Is it true?
But
Or, I mean, I heard that it's. I don't know if it's true. You know.
I'm not the one to ask, but my point is that I love it when actors do those little tiny things that really probably doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but help to tell the story in a way that you're just glad the actor thought of it.
Right.
Because the director would never consider it, the scriptwriter would never consider it. And it's the way that they hold a gun, or the way that they point at things, or the way that they ignore punctuation marks.
Oh, all right, you're bringing so many details to mind that I know. I'm ready for us
Yep.
to roll out the movie.
I love it. I love it.
So here's how this whole episode even started in the first place. Because actually, I was about to do like a little Halloween special where I say, okay, let's do some horror movies or whatever. And then I was seeing a tweet from Mysticwolf, and he was posting. What he did was he was posting the movie poster from Man on Fire, which looks so fucking gorgeous. And
it looks masculine, gentleman, just bold.
Absolutely, and what you said was, please correct me if I'm wrong. You said, "What's the first word that comes to your mind when you see this?" And you were saying relentless, and then I was doing a comment. I would say, "Yeah, a man on a mission," and stuff like that. And here's the funny thing: last time you were on the show, we were doing like Lucky Number 7, and it's interesting that those two movies have one very interesting parallel. Those two movies are almost forgotten nowadays, and I have no idea why. Because they're both excellent movies, but for some reason no one talks about them.
Ooh, we have different friends then.
Yeah, yeah, we do. I think. Like I
rewatched it one the other night with my roommate, and his girlfriend was over, and she never seen it. We're both like, "Oh shit!" We're making her watch it now.
Nice. Yeah, and it's funny because my girlfriend was like, "Oh, I've seen it so many times. I think this is a movie that she's seen more than I have," and especially growing up, like in the Brooklyn area. Not that I grew up in Brooklyn, but I have family from Brooklyn, and every time I visit them, this is a movie we talk about and or watch. It just happens to be on for some reason, like on regular television, not even popping the DVD or anything. And it's just a casual. I don't know, maybe it's a black thing too, but it's just a thing that we all enjoy this movie. Denzel Washington is the man, and we can just talk about our favorite moments from the movie all the time. We need to get some new friends, brother.
It definitely adds into my appreciation for Nine Inch Nails.
Oh, I know which scene you're referring to.
I was thinking about that. Who are all these artists in this movie?
Well, I think you're referring to this one scene where it's like, I'm gonna kill them all, right?
Oh yeah,
and then it kicks in.
Where it's the guitar really slow, and it's just like with think of like a most severe moment in the game would be like a knife slowly going into someone. It's just like this is happening, you can't stop it. Like that, just the way they play that scene.
Also, this is like a scene where in most other movies, this would be like a scene where the main character is like grieving or stuff like that, and you have like very sad music reminding you that the scene is sad. And you have like some kind of ambient score in the background before it happens, and then it dissolves into the first chords of this Nine Inch Nails song, and you just realize, oh, this scene is gonna go on a whole different take. And actually, you can also see on the I don't know what's the name of the mother from Peter. You can also see on her face the grief is gone. She becomes like stone cold, and she's seeing like in Denzel's face, oh yeah, he's gonna take care of that. And completely consumed.
She's just like, go ahead, do what you do best. I don't care.
It's just that, and that's the thing when you have a healthy relationship where it's like, all right, I can be cool because the man is here.
It's a statement.
It is, and it's something that I've lived so many times, whether it was me or just me and my friends. And I think back to earlier this year where we talked about it. It's like a lot of my friends came together to help me bury my uncle. And in that moment, there was a greater sense of calm from their presence. And like, that's what it is to be around good people. Especially a John Creasy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
What's that line from? I don't know if it's in the book, but it's definitely in the movie. I think it's the Two Rings. And it's like, the closest you are to harm, the farther you are from danger. And John Creasy is the harm.
Yeah.
He is the danger, as it were.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it if it's actually fair to compare him to John Wick, because from a certain point of view, those are actually the same kind of movies. Both are like stone cold revenge plots, which we have seen 100 times in cinema already. One of them is better, in my opinion. We can find out which one. But do you guys think it is fair to compare those two movies? To compare the character of John Wick to the character of John Creasy?
Oh, I think we're both purposely trying not to speak first.
All right, this is going to get deep on this one. We're going to pause it so many times.
I said I just wanted to keep it light and relax and just listen. I'll say this: I mean, I could care less if it's fair or not. I just don't see it. I don't see the parallel whatsoever. To the point where, let's talk about the revenge thing. I think one of this is an avenging movie, and one of these is a revenge movie.
Interesting.
And I think John Wick is that revenge, and the other one is just a man doing his job. So it's vengeance, but not because you. It's a man doing his duty versus a man needing to retaliate.
I think if I want to put it like in a 5-year-old perspective, John Wick is like, "Hey, you killed my dog. Fuck you."
Yeah.
Except, like that's simply just fuck you, burn it all down. When does that end? Versus, this movie, Man on Fire. It's like you're part of an organization that that does a crime, and none of us are really happy with. Your crime just came after me, and you know what the result is? We're gonna tear down your whole organization because no one likes your crime. And it's almost like, how could you disagree with that? Like, you can't casually argue and say, no, let them keep kidnapping people. Like, what the fuck? You can't. There's just no way you can casually agree with that.
Ooh, okay, I see that now.
Versus like John Wick, you're gonna say, like, hey, when are you stopping? You're just destroying everything.
I like that. I gotta think about this more. But yeah, otherwise I wouldn't really relate these two. I can for the sake of this conversation, but they're just two different feels, two different energies. Right. The director's team is totally different in the intention. And you know what? Man on Fire is based off of that Italian book. So I'm not really thinking of relating it to such a new modern character. And then the actors that lead both movies are very different, like the exact opposite careers. Well respected both at the height of their game and still going, I might add. But I don't know. There's no need to relate them.
Yeah, it's like the one huge difference for me personally between Man on Fire and John Wick is the aspect of one of them has heart, and the other one is just straight action. And I just can't feel myself being engaged with the story of John Wick. I see him in the beginning of the movie watching a video of his wife or some kind of photos, I don't know, on a fucking iPhone. And it's just I don't feel anything because I don't know who this woman is. We get to hear, she kind of saved him, quote unquote, and she saw him, she helped him get back to real normal life again, stuff like that. I don't know. Yeah, it's all good, and I'm a fan of show don't tell, so it's actually okay. Like, leave this like as a mystery. Papi, I know you're a great fan of that. We don't need to see him actually using a pen to kill people. I'm all for that, you know. But the thing is, I don't have anything, you know. And see, this is what Man on Fire does right. We don't get to see what Creasy actually did before this movie starts. I don't know what. He was like some kind of CIA guy.
So they said he was ex-CIA.
Yeah.
You can tell. All right, are we going to start the movie? Because there's so many details we can talk about it on the movie.
Sure. Let's just let it roll in the background. And here's where it starts with. Also, everyone who's listening, if you want to join the Watch Together party, and if you are like kind of listening to this afterwards, if you're not listening to this live, you can actually watch the movie together with us wherever you're going to stream it, maybe on Amazon, maybe on the high seas. When I say press play, you're going to press play, and then you can watch it with us. You can listen to our live reactions as well, and it is as if we were all in this like big room and enjoying this movie together, so to speak. So you guys all having the movie ready?
Oh yeah.
I pressed play like a minute ago, so I need to.
Oh shit, man!
I didn't know the rules.
You did like just start.
Who's up with the rules?
Papi's like already at the end scene. I was like, hey, wait for me.
I know, right?
Even the beginning tells you the situation. It just opens up Mexico and some beautiful scenery. It makes Mexico look beautiful.
I think we're gonna straight kick off with talking about the cinematography when we start. So you guys are all ready to press play at the 0.00 mark.
Wait, I thought we already. Oh, I'm really. All right.
Yeah,
No,
I'm
I'm
not
so,
listening
no,
to
I'm
you.
sorry. I'm sorry. I wasn't
Just like
communicating
movie,
clear
movie,
enough.
movie. Okay, cool.
So Papi's like watching the beginning for the fifth time now.
Hush, hush, hush.
Oh my god. Okay,
Uh,
you guys are all on 0.00.
Correct. I'm watching it on Amazon Prime.
Same here.
I don't think there are any
Yeah.
commercials or anything before.
No, I think so as well. Jason, you're good as well.
Yeah, I'm watching it.
Okay.
Right around that time.
Okay, perfect. So we're on 0-0, and when I say press play, you're gonna press play. Okay, like in 3, 2, 1. We're gonna press play. Okay, don't forget to mute it. I unfortunately don't have like subtitles, which really pisses me off. But
What?
good.
Amazon has subtitles?
Yeah, not in Germany, man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I keep forgetting
man.
there's servers over there.
But
Got
the
bad
good,
friends
but
and a bad IP
the
address.
good thing about this movie is there are a lot of subtitles in there. You probably remember.
Oh, that's right. This is a Spanglish joint.
Yeah.
I feel like I speak Spanish when I watch this movie.
Yeah, it works out for
everything-
the market great, with Spanglish.
Dude, fucking Denzel Washington has like zero accent when he speaks. It's crazy. He speaks like perfect
It's just
Spanish.
sharp. I wonder if that's an acting thing or something else, but yeah,
Yeah,
his vocal control is really spot on.
absolutely. And yeah, what I was about to say before we got to the start of this movie is that we don't get to see what Creasy did in his earlier life, so to speak. We just get being thrown into this movie. He's like this fucked up person. Really, he looks like shit in the beginning. But the difference between Man on Fire and John Wick is we see a clear motivation behind his revenge, which means we have like a relationship to the little girl, to Peter, which we don't have to John Wick's wife. Because every time, this is the smart part of the cinematography, which we already seen like the first few glimpses of it, like this nice editing shit here.
Yeah, I mean, this is
like the cinematography
God.
gives away what's happening. It's just like you see a random person get kidnapped off the street in Mexico,
Yes.
taken in the middle of nowhere, handed off to another car, and then the family's like freaking out. It almost just seems like it's like a burn and churn. It's just something people do every other day there.
yeah.
And that kind of, that gives you that craziness of Mexico.
Yeah. And when there's like I think around the middle part of the movie, it's where Creasy just goes berserk and just like kills everyone. And there are like few little edited scenes where you can see a second before he shoots someone, he sees like the image of Peter in his mind flickering. And this is what misses from John Wick. John Wick just fucking kills everyone. It's very impersonal. It's just like this kind of machine. And there you can see
Professional.
why he does it,
No, it's that cartoon violence.
Right.
It's that Disney violence where it's like bad things are happening, hundreds of people are being killed off every other scene, but it's harmless.
I mean, it's hard.
It feels harmless.
I mean, it's really, yeah. Also,
Like
there
you're
are like
playing
no,
a video game, and they'll respawn later on.
yeah. Also, there are like no consequences in the John Wick movie, whereas
Yes.
in Man on Fire, actually Denzel almost dies after like 40 minutes of screen time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he almost does multiple times. I think that's what kind of brings back what I said about him on a tweet is he's just relentless. Like, he's dying, but his mind just says, I'm going to keep going.
So this is one of those rare movies, and an action no less, that kind of we've talked about it before. How I love 90-minute movies, and this movie is 2.5 hours, and it's one of the few that defies that idea that all movies should be 90 minutes long. And when I say that, I'm really talking about that there are a lot of terrible movies that if they were just a little bit shorter, they'd be more palatable. And John Wick is a solid 90-minute flick.
Yeah.
And this is 2.5 hours, and they're both fun and enjoyable to watch. But this one, if you pay attention, I think it's at minute 49 when Pita is actually kidnapped. So for 49 minutes, all you're doing is getting to know the characters, how they relate to themselves and each other. So that way, everything that comes past that 50-minute mark, the stakes are built in. Everyone has skin in the games, including the characters, including you as the audience. which is why every little act, every little like we were talking about gestures that the actors may make, things that they might say, everything is heavier because you actually give a damn about them versus a movie where someone's just like looking at their camera and looking at their old videos and being reminiscing about the past, but you don't know anything about that past, so you don't really care, like in the John Wick series.
Yeah, this is actually the difference. This is actually the opposite of show don't tell. This is tell don't show. It's this is like the movie trying to tell me, hey, look, John Wick really loved this woman. I'm like, hey, show me how much he loved her.
Indeed.
Whereas here, it's, when they come in the beginning, it's because even it relates. He said 49 minutes. They spent 49 minutes really telling you the story, what's really going on, making it personal. Like, they could have just rushed into it. Here he is, and Peter gets kidnapped.
Absolutely. And we would have liked it all the same. But in a different way, actually. Never mind, not all the same. But it's funny.
The emotions better is he comes in and he's a drunk. He's got some sort of friend that's living a great life. And it just alludes like his beard looks like a mess. He looks like a mess. He's not really, looking happy. He's killing a whole fifth of Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
And then through the process, he gets closer to her, and she ends up being his outlet to live again. And that's just that's huge to him. He found a reason to live again because you get what? Let me see. It's 15 minutes in where he tries to kill himself.
Now this is funny because now the parallels you're making me draw are I actually see ways that you could relate this to John Wick. I mean, not just in the storytelling, just the idea of a man who's grieved his past decisions to the point where he's like, what do I have to live for anymore? And that's putting it nicely.
Yeah, but I think in the end, Peter didn't really become his new purpose, but he was actually becoming a different person. And in John Wick, it's just fuck, they killed my dog,
I want to agree with David on that one.
It was genuine redemption he had at the end when you get to the final scene, and I'm really not crying easily on a movie,
No, certainly not.
This is don't you guys also agree with me when so many people they fucking masturbate over how much I feel, how much I cried so hard on this scene, people really boast. They boast themselves and I cried so much in that moment, which is so stupid to think. But I gotta admit, this movie hits some spots, and I can't really explain why, but it's beautiful, especially the ending scene. Fucking brilliant.
You know what I like is that I very rarely get to see Mickey Rourke in a suit in a movie, and I like him in this clean cut, but still very much, maybe not very much. He's Rourke. He has that Rourke energy, but I love the aesthetic of Mickey Rourke in this setting.
He's usually very rough and gruff. He's very gritty.
Especially as he gets older.
Oh yeah.
But this is cool. I almost forget that that's Mickey Rourke.
Even Mark Anthony in this.
It's funny. You can tell to some that we may know of. It's he comes in a nice clean cut blue suit, and then here comes, and the next scene you have rolling in 12 Suburbans, and then somewhere in there is his buddy living like a king, Christopher Walken, and in there is Creasy, and it's how did you end up in this group? And you still look like the drunk. You look like the misfit in this group.
Yeah. I need to pay more attention to Mickey Rourke. I haven't watched too many of his movies, but again, for me, it was always aesthetic. He just looked like a really cool guy.
Have either of you guys seen the movie The Wrestler?
I did not.
For a movie that I reference a lot, I still haven't seen it.
Oh, wow. That's a big Mickey Rourke film, so...
Yeah, it is.
It's a little personal. Years ago, I met the guy who did the sound design for me. It was really fascinating, the things they did for that movie. From the production aspect, because even here, they're driving in the car, and you don't even fully know where they're driving right now. You just see them driving. You assume they're in Mexico. It looks beautiful. But you're just focused on the conversation the whole time. It's the only thing you hear.
Yeah, it's I was already about to ask, because Jason, you're watching this movie on mute, of course, and I think it hurts. I think it hurts, especially you, because I know how much you're focused on sound design. It's your expertise, of course, and Tell me what you think about the sound design of this movie, because I was really the first thing that comes to my mind is Oye Como Va, this fucking scene in the car, and it's brilliant. The way he plays around with sound and music and score, and it's just gorgeous. What is your take, like your expertise, of course, on the sound design in Man of Fire?
I gotta admit, it keeps you tuned in the story. I mean, I remember watching this because 2 days ago I watched it. It's just like you see them driving and you just hear them. You zoom out the cars, you hear them driving. It immediately cuts from that to here is John Creasy, shaved face, looking a little bit better, with Mr. Ramos in the back, and he's driving him. And all you do is you hear the two of them talking, and you look at his resume and you're like, holy shit. Trained DEA, CIA, all this other stuff. Is like, who the fuck is Creasy? But you just hear them talking very casual, and then he admits that he's an alcoholic.
Yeah.
It's interesting how he still looks so. You can see on his face like he slept 2 hours. He feels like shit. It's so interesting. You can see everything you need to know just from his face.
For me, though, I see that as a plus simply because there are a lot of characters that say, I'm a professional, but he's the one who never says it, but actually demonstrates that he is a professional. Yes, I'm an alcoholic, and yes, I have all this brilliant experience. Yes, you cannot afford me. However, let's go back to the fact that I'm an alcoholic. and if I shoot my gun, it may not hit its target because I drank before I'm bringing your girl to school. He doesn't say it without any guilt or shame. He's just, I know what it is. I can't change it. Are you hiring me or not?
Just acknowledges it. And then here's the great thing, because he walks in the house. The house looks like friggin' royalty. Yeah. And then wait for it, his wife gets up, and then we see it. And next thing you know, she asks him if he wants a drink, and they just casually drinks alcohol in front of her.
And now you have a built-in joke without anyone hamming it up.
Yeah.
Like there's that certain subtlety where a joke is in front of you, but you don't acknowledge it. Like,
yes, yeah, this is one of those movies. Very well thought out, and it's definitely the acting helps to deliver those moments in a way that you actually just enjoy them. They're not forced.
Thank you for saying it, because I gotta say it rarely happens that you have a movie, that you have a cast where I cannot think of a single person who doesn't deliver in this movie. Even fucking Mark Anthony is doing a great job.
Yeah. It's every time I see it, I just don't like him, and then I'm like, oh wait, this is part of the character. All right.
Yeah.
He's just like
told that he's just desperate for.
No, absolutely. He's just this weak, whiny man who has enough money to take care of his family, but then you realize, oh wait, he has no money, which is why he needs strong men around him.
I can already see like demons inside of him. You can already see like something is boiling inside of him. He's nervous. He has already planned this.
He's hoping his wife is happy. He's just waiting for her to just tell him it's okay.
Yep.
Even he does good body language acting. Look at that. Creasy's professional, walks straight out the door, really calm. He's, Anthony Ramos is just waiting there. He's like, "What are you gonna say? Hopefully, honey, you're very happy." He's just hoping to please his wife.
And I'm not the best at Dakota Fanning's career, but I will say this is probably the best role she's ever done.
I'll agree.
Or ever will do.
Ooh,
she makes this movie. She turns this movie into something else.
Yeah, like, child actors, it's always like a very difficult topic, and there has been like this one little boy, Haley Joel Osment, I think is his name.
The punchline of Hollywood when it comes to this topic.
Yes. the guy from The Sixth Sense and whatnot.
Exactly. He didn't have the same friends. He didn't have the same crew as what do you call it? Doogie Howser. What's his name?
Neil Patrick Harris.
Michael, whatever. There you go, Neil Patrick Harris.
But yeah, there were actually like a very few kids back in the 90s, 2000s who could act their ass off, and I don't know if it's like a natural thing, because how can a kid this young act so good?
That's a good question. That's why I wonder what the rest of her career looks like. But I'm pretty sure because there's a few of them, right? There's more than one Fanning.
Yeah, sure, of course.
Totally, yeah. We're gonna clone them really
All
quick.
this to say that there are a lot of girls in that category. I don't know which one is which, but I'm pretty sure she hasn't done anything big since this. Or big, yes, but not in the way that we actually respect her for being in it.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Well, good save on that one.
Exactly. I'm not going to diminish her career, but at the same time, I know that she hasn't done. This is her most provocative piece of work.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, she's still acting. I'm looking her up now, so it's just like she's still active. So I think this is, you got a good point though. This is her best role because she's basically like, her character is just like a little adult.
Exactly.
She builds a casual relationship with Creasy, and there's like that frustration where she's still like a sweet girl, but she just treats him like, oh, you're my security guard. Well, you may get replaced. I don't know.
Yeah.
And she's almost so blunt about it. It's really beautiful in that way. It makes you want to like see her as just another adult.
Yeah, that's a good point. I forgot she's a kid.
She actually did a lot of bullshit movies afterwards, including Twilight and all this shit. So interesting to see. Interesting to see which take her whole career went. Interesting.
But she still has the chops. It's just whether or not she's gonna put it out. But yeah. So she just makes this movie something special because it easily could have been dialed in, and
well, it's actually not Dakota Fanning. It's the chemistry between her and Creasy that makes the movie, I would say. They both,
absolutely.
They both function.
There's layers to it.
Yeah, they both function together so perfectly. It's just like, this is perfect on-screen chemistry, the way it's supposed to be.
And I wonder what that, and that's a question for like a different world, I guess. But it's one of those things where, what is it for an actor like Denzel Washington to work with anybody? Because I feel like you have to be on top of your game to really play along with him in the way that these two do. And they're probably like 5 generations apart. So, but they make it seem so effortless. Like, oh man, maybe I could act.
Indeed. Yeah.
But at the same time, I think there's a lot going on that we just don't understand because we're not actors.
Yeah.
It's taken on a role like any role. I mean, even just the way the wife is. You could tell she's just that stay-at-home wife. She lives the role and with her husband and cares a lot about her daughter. And it's fascinating how each one plays the role. See, I think that's the other thing that appealed to me about this is every actor really kind of owns their role very well. Even like Mark or Mr. Ramos, he plays that kind of that boy who fell into money who doesn't even know what he's doing with it. He's just happy and excited to have it.
Yeah, and from a certain point of view, you can even understand him. Of course, it's like sick and all that, but you can see where he's coming from. You can see like he's been desperate or some kind of stuff, and crazy, man, crazy.
And it's funny because part of this plays out in 2 different ways. Because we've both seen it more than once, so the way we look at it is different. But if upon first viewing, you just think he's stressed out because of the work that he does, but it's like, wait, what does he do for work? I don't know if they actually explain. I'm pretty sure they don't, but it's one of those things where
his family owns. So they kind of hinted at his family owns like an auto manufacturing plant. And they joked about the Japanese. So it sounded like it used to be a Ford manufacturing plant up North Mexico, but then they were trying to get Toyota in on it. Of course, they didn't name names because who knows how much money you have to pay to get the name of Toyota in a movie.
Yeah. And my point being that even when you're watching it for the first time, it gives you're not thinking about the crime to come as much as, oh, this guy's just stressed because now he has a new target on his head because he's just trying to take care of his family and do the best that he can. But really, it's because there's this deeper motive that until you see it a first time, you really can't think about. So it just plays on this wonderful level. Whether you're a beginner or watching it for the 10th time, there's something here for you.
I mean, even just their early interactions, you see how PETA and Creasy are. It's really, she's so curious about him. She wants to get to know him. She's very innocent, and I think that's what plays along beautifully with him for what he's bringing up, for what we know about him in the beginning. She's so innocent and just curious, and he just wants to be so dark and professional.
You put a fucking 8 or 10-year-old girl next to a guy who has such a high body count. It's crazy when you think about it. I mean, would you trust your little daughter sitting next to a guy who has killed dozens of people? I don't know. That's crazy.
I mean, you bring that back to the opening of the movie. It's like, what is it? They said one person in Latin America gets kidnapped every 60 seconds, and 70% don't survive. It's like, holy, been a really bad scene in Mexico, eh?
Yeah.
Long day. But yeah, I mean, and the reason it works is because they're both doing their individual jobs so well. And that's what makes it funny. That's what gives it the deeper moments. Is you don't have to play up the moment. You just have two characters that are true to themselves, and then you put them in a situation. The situation does most. I mean, they're doing their work, but the situation actually is what creates the humor. It's the fact that these two people aren't supposed to be friends with each other, let alone in the same car, and having a conversation together. So now the conversation is funny simply because it shouldn't be happening.
Very natural way.
Yeah. It's natural because of the way they played out. They're just being themselves, the way that we would in real life. However, juxtaposition is a great way to add comedy without being clever.
Yeah, it is comedic, because why would, in real life, would these two ever be around each other? And
exactly.
Even someone brought up, I think it was David, that he kind of looked like disheveled and a little messy. This is the first scene I've seen here where he drops her off for the first time at the Catholic school, and she's talking to him about, you're your father now. But then once I'm looking at Creasy, like, his suit looks like shit.
Yeah.
I just observe it and I'm like, man, his suit looks wrinkled, like it's a little too big on him. Like, I don't know if that's purposely done, but it's sticking out.
It makes sense, right? Like, he probably just went to the store, got a $300 suit because he needed the job.
Yeah, but isn't that like a '90s thing, like a late '80s, early '90s thing? Weren't suits actually looking like this? I mean, nowadays we were the Italian cut, but isn't that actually how people dressed?
I think at the turn of the century, it was shifting out a little bit and getting more to the slender look. But this is what, 2004, maybe?
Yeah, now I got a close up. It definitely looks cheap, I would say. Yeah.
It looks cheap. I don't know, like with the photography I like to do, I like to be around people who are professional and take care of themselves, just because what I do. I noticed a difference in that, and it's weird watching the movie with no sound on. I'm like, it sticks out like a sore thumb to me now.
I mean, every time I watch a movie with suits, I'm just paying attention to details like that. And I don't like it, but I think it fits, and he looks like every other guy that just wants to get a job.
Guys, this hey Papi, this is how we're gonna torture Jason in the best possible way. We're gonna tie him to a chair, like really Clockwork Orange style, right? We're gonna put the movie on mute. We're gonna put the movie on mute, and then we're gonna turn it into black and white, and he's just gonna be forced to watch it.
Black and white can work sometimes. You gotta be creative. The aesthetics matter.
Oh man, no, but I mean, all of this is spot on. And now that I'm thinking about it, all I'm thinking about after you guys brought that up is contrast. I think you both know that I love contrast and everything, and I think that's when you really just get to have fun with just colors and conversations. But so much of this movie is juxtaposition. This is a security guard who, I wouldn't say he hates killing, but he's just really good at it. But he doesn't. He wishes he wouldn't have to do it. It's just, this is what I do, and this is what pays the bills, and it is what it is. I'm not going to change the world, and I'm not going to change who I am. So when he's talking to that nun, it's a moment of, I know you expect me to be this guy, and I totally understand it, especially living out here in Mexico. But I read my Bible, I know my scripture, and I understand good and evil. However, this is what I do.
Yeah, let's talk about this line, because it's one of my favorite lines from the whole movie, and there's gonna be a situation where he is gonna ask Mark Anthony's character, I believe, or maybe in a different context, because the sister was asking him, "Do you see the hand of God in what you do? Do you see like God's will in what you do?" I don't know the exact words.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And you top it off too. We're watching a scene right now where he's driving and he's like he's getting frustrated because Cheetah wants to be social with him. She's asking about scars on his hand. And there's like people jumping on his car, watching his car, trying to get money. He's pulling his gun out. It's like, whoa, calm down. You don't need to just shoot someone who needs money.
Yeah, it's a nice way to show, don't tell, how fucked up Creasy is, even to a degree where you could say, yeah, some kind of PTSD maybe. Yeah. It's like
interesting because I just look at it as absolutely normal. If I hired you to be my bodyguard, I want you to be that responsive. I don't see him as trigger happy. I see him as responsive. And I'm like, yeah, you can't take any chances. Because if I wanted to kill you, that's how I would do it. I would send a bunch of kids. They don't even know me. I just ask them, hey, let's help guys clean their cars today, knowing that they're eventually going to land on your car. And when you least expect it, that's what I'm going for you.
Right.
So now I know
that's me being ruthless and trying to get my target.
Oh my god!
So it's like, yeah, professionalism all across the board.
Yeah.
Well, and even like right here, like this is coming up where
okay, yeah,
we get the post-school season where you realize him and her kind of a disagreement a little, and then the wife's talking to him. And he's setting the curve, he's setting the tone, and he's being polite but firm. But the wife's curious because she likes him. Even like her, she's giving him a second chance. Think about it.
Yeah.
Like the way she's talking to him, she's just like, "Hey, you're an American. Like I get it, you know, but I trust you." She's like, "But I want to go with you tomorrow." Then they play along really well because even she seems to have. So this is a weird thing. I don't know if you guys take this as. I see the real strong masculine, feminine roles in here played beautifully because both the wife and Peta, they have a really healing nature. And because he's so far gone on masculine, where he's killed people, he's shot people, people have died, like, and he's done things that most people can figure unforgivable. But they basically show him like, hey, we get it, you're here, and they just treat him like family. That like healing nature, like this is where we start to see them show it towards him, and it almost starts, it's where you start to transition him a little bit, where he has a meaning again.
That's a nice way to look at it, because the only thing I see is the relationship between him and Peta, but there's actually a second relationship between him and the mother, and it culminates in this one moment where he promises her, "Yeah, I'm gonna kill them all." They understand each other on a different level, on a deeper level.
My thing
is, get connected at some point. It started out. You can see it here where you talk about him and the daughter.
And for me, I just think everything that you just said about him and Peta, and even him and the wife, it's him in every single character that he interacts with. There's something about, again, I don't know if we can relate it to the script, the acting, or a combination of it, but there's something about, like, even if he's about to kill someone, there's something about the way the scenes play out where he's actually connecting with the other person. It's like, yeah, I'm going to cut all 10 of your fingers off, but we're going to be friends as we do it. And it's not going to be this abusive, gratuitous thing. It's just, he's charming. He's charmingly violent. Even so, in every single interaction, there's something wholesome about it that I can't really describe and articulate it, but maybe you guys sense it as well.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the scene where he's putting something in someone's ass. This, like, he's putting a bomb in someone's ass.
He doesn't put it in there. It's already there. It's already established.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone to ever assume that Denzel Washington ever did actually put something in his because I'm like, don't tarnish him. We already have enough heroes that are tarnished because of things they actually did. Let's not make one up. But yeah.
I don't know if you guys are watching. This is at about like 28:15 right now. This is a very potent scene in his character development.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's a scene that we've seen before, right? What do you call it? Playing Russian roulette.
This ain't Russian roulette. Look at that. That's not a revolver. That bullet's gonna hit.
Well, that's what I mean. This is a different way to look at it.
I know David understands guns pretty well. I don't know about you.
Oh man!
I think
they definitely twisted it.
Yeah. I think if Robert De Niro was there, he would actually trying to use a real gun, because like method acting, actually putting something in someone's ass. Oh my god!
But yeah, he tries to shoot himself with a 9mm, and the bullet doesn't go off, and he has like a revelation calling his friend, who's Christopher Walken. That's. He just showed her healing nature, how she cares about him, and now he's like, I can't even kill myself.
Could we say that this is like the end of the first act right now?
It's definitely a revelation, so I would say, this is where the roller coaster goes up.
Yeah.
like the healing process kind of started, and this is where we're going to build the relationship between him and Peter, so it hurts in the end when she's getting kidnapped.
And I love this line: "A bullet always tells the truth."
I'm like, is that an Alec Baldwin line? Yeah.
I knew it, man. So,
when you first told me that earlier this week, I was like, I don't know. Everything is Alec Baldwin right now when it relates to fire.
So are we actually already allowed to do jokes about this thing? I don't know, man.
Oh, I did.
We already are.
Okay, let's do it, man.
Oh man, come on now. Yeah.
Alright.
Bullet always tells the truth.
Yeah, I could have sworn Alec Baldwin quoted that one on the set.
Is that a joke? Are you trolling? What's going on?
It's a total joke.
No, I just want to. I'm genuinely asking because I just want to keep an open mind. This movie has a lot of great lines.
But look at that. He keeps that bullet, that bad primer bullet with him. He literally carries it with him. It's like he puts in the matchbox. That's special to him.
I missed that. All right.
Think of like a man who's like I'm sure some soldiers may have experienced where they go off and they kill and they kill and kill in years. They're not looking the same, but even look at him now. You can see the look on his face. It's just a little more rattled, a little more calm. His method acting is good. I'm glad you pointed out, Papi.
Yeah, I mean, in anything he does, even that silly Disney movie. What was it? Remember the Titans. I want to hate Disney. I want to hate that movie, but Denzel makes it. He makes it work.
So let's quickly talk about Denzel himself and because when I say Denzel Washington, what's the first movie that comes to your mind? Let's start with you, Jason.
Oh, damn.
I was gonna say Training Day.
Papi, what about you?
You know what? It's funny. I just brought it up. I think it's Remember the Titans. Yeah. Training Day is definitely the top 3. Remember the Titans. What's another Denzel movie besides Out of Time?
Oh, I love that one. I love that one so much. I hate Ava Mendes. I just hate her. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe I'm biased because of like this fucking Will Smith movie, Hitch. I fucking hate
that's
her.
right. She's there.
But nice thriller, definitely.
There's something that I'm forgetting though about Denzel in terms of movies that I enjoy. But
Sure.
Oh, thank you. And I mean, I like that as a good movie. Period. It doesn't resonate with me in terms of like how I'm gonna remember him. Wow, I'm making it sound like he's gonna pass tomorrow. But how I relate to him now. Yeah, but it's Remember the Titans for me.
This will bring you guys back. But you remember when Denzel Washington did the military movie, The Siege? That was another really good acting for him. He had like a similar character with like, for the right of the good, like keep people from dying motive.
I remember it. American Gangster. That's what I was thinking.
Oh,
how could I have ever forgotten that? Yeah. Especially right next to Russell Crowe. But there's something about, I think like that is one of his masterpieces where it's a culmination of all his great skills and it's in one character. And yeah. He just has some funny lines in that. Yeah, or they're funny to me.
This guy you can put this guy in any role. He pulls it off. It doesn't matter what it is.
Absolutely.
It's such a variable, like, because I was thinking about which actor, like you were mentioning Steve McQueen, like in terms of being so variable. Of course, Al Pacino that's clear. When it comes to actors who are actually believable when it comes to their acting, I'm thinking Mel Gibson, but he's limited. For example, he's very limited. He couldn't play a villain, for example. It just doesn't fit him. He's too soft.
Mel Gibson? Wait, what?
Really? I wouldn't think that when I heard Mel Gibson.
I mean, that's what he's done a lot of in the past. Anti-heroes and... Wait, are we talking about the same Mel?
Yeah, absolutely. I cannot see him being a straight villain. I can't.
Wait, as opposed to what other type of villain?
Like for example, Denzel Washington or Al Pacino.
I don't know. I feel like now we have to have like an episode where you just talk about Mel Gibson because I want to see how you see him. Because for me, I just think he has that gruff attitude. Like he's a guy that you can understand why certain audiences like love to hate him. Like he did that movie about the girls where he like got inside their heads and he could hear their thoughts. And it's like he's this jerk. You're an asshole, but I like you. So he's charming in that sense.
I see.
So easily I can see that energy being turned into a villain. He was in a movie called Boss, where he actually is a villain. He did one of the Expendables as a villain. And yeah, he just has that arrogant, almost holier than thou, but that's not the right way to put it, attitude, which lends itself to being a villain because he doesn't care about other people's feelings. Which might be just him being himself based off of all the controversies.
That's what I was about to say, talking about Mel Gibson, not like a like a role he was playing.
I mean, I like him. I like him as a human being. I know of him, and as an actor.
I don't know.
And
if we are.
When everyone got mad at him, I was like, I get it.
I don't know. If we are supposed to, if we are allowed to say on stream, I like Mel Gibson. Maybe the stream is going to be taken down. I don't know if that's hate speech or anything.
Of all the things.
Yeah, we'll get banned pretty quickly that way. For any number.
No, Mel Gibson is definite. Well, I mean, back to the original topic, which is Denzel Washington can play just about anything. Has he ever played a villain, though? Now I'm wondering.
Wait, Denzel? Training Day.
Oh, never mind. All right. Again, my definition of villain is slightly different. So, I'm like, he was just misunderstood. But all right, yeah, I feel you. You're right.
Yeah, he's misunderstood. They shot him in the ass, and no one helped him. His whole crew, supposedly.
Yeah. I just have a warped perspective of things.
So I could say Hitler was misunderstood, but I'm not saying it. You know, giving the country
I purposely didn't bring it up so you could go one episode without it.
All right, we're now officially banned.
Yeah, there you go.
Wait, what kind of movie are we talking about again? So,
all this
right here.
Have you?
Denzel. Like this is where he gets into acting, where he's trying to teach her how to become better at swimming. Like you can see him, like he looks healthier. He's coaching her through swimming. It's just like it's amazing to watch his physical acting with it.
Also, there's like the little girl recognizing that he's smiling right now, and he's like trying to deny it, and they have a nice back and forth. It's it's a very bonding moment there.
Yeah.
She's like, no, I didn't smile. I smirked. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I don't see two actors. I see two people just genuine. I don't think this was like a script thing. Just like Tony Scott was like just having two cameras, like just interact with each other. They're not acting. It's crazy.
Yeah, they're really good at what they do. I don't know what they're doing. I couldn't duplicate it myself.
Because what I see sometimes when I'm watching movies, it's like, okay, this is take 20 or something like that. I can see there were like a few takes of it. Yeah. And in this one, I cannot see they doing like 20 takes of that. This was like the first take, and it was good, and that is it. You know, this
it's not a David Fincher event. Like they're one and done. And he's like, if you don't get it in 3, too bad.
It's not worth it.
It's funny how different directors play with that. Or I guess in some cases, sometimes the actors will take the reign and be like, no, I want to do it again and again and again.
So guys, Tony Scott. Papi, you go first.
I always get him and Ridley mixed up, but at the end of the day, that frenetic energy. I mean, you already know. You know me well enough to know that I just like stylistic takes on anything. Like, if you're going to show me someone peeling a banana, do it in the coolest way possible. That tells me about who you are. And this is a Tony Scott event. You feel it in the energy. It's frenetic. Now that I think about it, juxtaposition might be one of his favorite words because he's always playing around with sounds and different elements that may not necessarily, you wouldn't expect them to go together, but they definitely do. And yeah, this is just totally him.
Yeah. You were mentioning style, and it's so interesting because like Man on Fire is 2.5 hours long, right? And you could easily cut a few things out, of course, like story-wise, of course. There are many things in there which are just there for the purpose of style. For example, it's actually one of my favorite scenes, and it serves no purpose whatsoever. It's Denzel Washington standing in front of this rave club, putting on a bandana
Yeah, for
and smoking a
hours.
cig. It's just he just put it in. He just put it in because it looks cool as fudge, man. It's the only reason. There's no
Tony Scott does B-roll. That's funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no fucking reason to see Denzel Washington putting on a fucking bandana, smoking a cig in front of a club.
Oh, that's funny.
Well,
It's
that's
not like
professional feeling. It's just
But
like
I
I'm
like
gonna go
lean
do
editing,
this.
but
All
hearing you
right,
say
that's
that.
the best way to go do this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
my
funny.
God.
That's funny. How about you, Jason?
I
Yeah.
mean,
About
I mean,
Tony
the
Scott.
scene is beautiful. It's a certain level of professional, no fucks to say. He's like, all right, I got to do this. All right, I got to get through that first guy. And he's just thinking how he get through. Shows up at the fence, puts some money. The guy's like,
Right.
oh, okay, so takes the money. Next thing you know, he's got a gun pointed at his chest.
Also the way the cinematography plays in this scene is like it's very flickering. Of course, the editing is all over the place, but it actually fits the situation because you're in front of a fucking rave club. It's all flickering lights and all that. This is how you actually see things. You blink and suddenly you see someone with some money in his hands. Hey, I'm trying to get in. You know, this is like very, it's excellent. And what we're about to
All right,
see.
I'm very curious about you guys, both of you, because I know I look at this in a very detailed way. When she gets kidnapped, what sticks out to you guys?
So say again.
And
terms
what
of the
makes you
moment?
think it's a good scene?
Wait, can you say that one more time? I didn't hear
Yeah.
that last part.
Say like right before she gets kidnapped, like they're in the car and they're really joking about she's got to go take piano lessons and she doesn't want to do it.
That's
She wants to-
right.
And he's joking with us like, well, he's very refined, very top classy man. What you do is you belch. Yeah, there you go. Just every so often belch, but apologize, but then you belch. You'll be back in the pool in 24 hours, I guarantee you. And they're like all on a fun, happy, fun note. And then next thing you know, I want to see your guys' take on like how that leads into the kidnapping.
No, that's right. For me, it's just
Yeah,
very
she's even-
realistic.
She's really sweet to him too. She like gives him the little dandelion. She's just really appreciative of him. He's legitimately happy. You can see expressions on him.
I like it because it's just grounded. There's so much of this movie that the whole movie is grounded. I would say.
But by the way,
that is
I just didn't
What's
want. I didn't want to interrupt you, but this is also one of my favorite scenes where the girl's doing the swimming contest. And pay close attention to Denzel Washington's body language. Now you can actually see how engaged he is, but still trying to maintain being a professional. And when Peter is actually winning, you can see him doing a little tilt with his head. That's a genuine reaction. I don't know if you guys are already there. I'm at 41:15. And look at his like little reaction when she wins the race. He's like, yes. it's so genuine, man.
all right. I'm gonna pay attention.
Oh my god.
All this to say that, yeah, there's a lot of realism, if that's the right word. And I usually say it's grounded. So with the kidnap scene, before we get to it, it's the time you're going to be attacked is when you're the most comfortable. That's when you're most vulnerable. And it's one of the cons of having a job like this, which is why you want to keep some sort of distance, but you want to be engaged enough at the same time. I'm glad that it doesn't turn into a movie where he feels bad that he got too close, because there's that trope these days where you have to feel guilty about caring about something, even if it's related to your job, like a situation like this.
Well, he maintains a really professional vibe, and even after she wins the swimming, he takes her with him to go hang out with his friend. And we don't know what Christopher Walken does. We just know he lives a lavish life in Mexico. And he just loves being the fun of the party, and he's just so happy to have her there.
Is Creasy actually drunk when the kidnapping happens? Is he on
I
alcohol?
don't think so. I don't think he's
I
been drunk
would
in a
think
long while.
so.
Because I don't actually remember, because he's showing a certain kind of professionalism in this moment, because he's like, he's actually taking some bullets, he's getting a few hits. You can see where he might come from, what his earlier life was making him do. He's showing his excellent skills, but he's also like a little bit struggling, you know. It's
Right, we gotta pause. So let's say, right as he's sitting down at the bench, though, like right around there, you know what I'm talking about, right? He's got the dog, and the dog comes back. You can almost see as soon as he's watching the street, he's glued. Like, I don't think he's drunk at all. I think he's just the most professional right here. Like, he's very happy and in a good moment of energy. Like, he's got the dandelion in his shirt. Like, that's such a cheesy thing, but she just said, hey, I love you, this is for you.
Mm-hmm.
And he's listening to her belch, and you can see her in the background. He's listening to, like, her taking the lessons and trying to belch.
Mm.
And then he gets distracted by the dog. But then even after that, you can see it back to where he's just glued.
Mm-hmm.
He's just glued on the street. Like, what do you guys see these little details in him? Even like when he's dressed, he's dressed a little more, relaxed.
Right.
But he's putting the dog back in the car, and immediately he catches some. He says, he sees a police officer, and you just follow his body language, just the camera, everything. It's like, what the fuck is this?
Mm-hmm. No, I think.
And then you see the police car back up.
And I think we have already passed the point where he quit alcohol. I think it just showed in the last scene.
Yeah, 45 minutes into it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean at 45.
It's not that
40, yeah, sorry again.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting at earlier, because I think he's just drunk off of his new life, so he's not really looking towards the vices because he doesn't have anything to run from, hide from. He's too preoccupied.
And I gotta warn both of you guys. I think you guys have a version without ads. You guys say 45 minutes, and it's really like 47 for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know what? The way you were talking made me think that I was 2 minutes behind. So
yeah,
I don't know how that happened.
So wait a second. I'm right now at 44. No, I'm like at 45:00 right now.
Exactly. So after I heard Jason talking, I sped it up 1 minute. So now I'm 40. I'm a minute ahead of you, Jason.
All right, let me.
Jason. Yeah.
Okay, let me skip as well. So, Papi, are you
If
also
I go 2 minutes ahead, you're 44. It means I'd be 48.
Yeah. So in 30 seconds, everything's about to go down.
Oh, perfect. All right, I'm back on schedule with you guys.
Okay, wait a second. I'm at 46:20 right now, right? Or are you
Oh,
guys
never mind. I'm 10 seconds ahead of you. That's all.
All right. Physically, you guys are watching the scene where she hands off the dandelion?
No, not yet. They're in the car towards that scene.
So right now, Denzel is playing with the dog and just hanging out.
We're all in 3 different scenes. No wonder we've been all over the place.
I mean, I'm responding to y'all, not the movie.
I'm glad we're watching the same movie, man.
There you go.
Like you guys talk about something. I'm just watching some Mel Gibson shit in the background. I don't give a fuck. So yeah, let's just double check. For me, it's 47:15.
Well, what's happening?
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know. Time doesn't make sense to me, but I have the exact same time as David. Yeah. We don't need to talk about time, though.
Okay.
We're good. We're watching the same thing. We've all seen it many times.
Papi Knox, this is like a quote which is going to be like, it's going to be quoted in 100 years. Let's don't talk about time. Time doesn't exist. Papi Knox, 2021.
There you go.
Awesome.
There you go.
So yes, for me, shit is about to go down right now. You can see how Denzel almost like smells something is off. It's beautiful because of the cinematography. You can see like close-ups of him, and the background is like it's a little tilt. It's beautiful, and it's a nice little trivia fact. Denzel is actually on a spinning platform in that moment.
Well, really? So
makes more sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Because they are very smooth, and you see him. He looks one direction, then he sees the other direction.
Right.
I think the moment he sees that car with that license plate, he knows that something's up, and he starts walking towards PETA. You just hear him yell.
Mm-hmm. It's such a beautiful.
What's his gun? Well,
the audience is feeling so rewarded because you can see he pulls out his gun, and this is like what they trained to do. It's like when she hears a gunshot, just run, and as the audience you're like, oh, it's so cool. They trained that, they trained for this situation.
And then she still freaks out, but she's emotionally in love with him. She runs away, but she can't really run away. She loves him, and she sees him get shot.
And this scene wouldn't make any sense if we wouldn't have the proper setup. We took 30-40 minutes to actually build that relationship. So it makes sense that this girl actually runs back. It wouldn't have worked out.
And I love most about this scene is he clears out like 3 people.
Yeah.
He doesn't hesitate. He shoots like 3 people in the head.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
It's a powerful skill.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if I could go somewhere in the world and learn such a thing. It's really cool.
It's also like you were mentioning sound design and sound editing, Jason. In this scene, they're doing
So,
they're doing some insane shit there. Like playing with music, like completely cutting off the sound the moment Denzel gets like two bullets in his. Yeah, it's brilliant on so many levels. Editing, sound design, cinematography, it all fits well. One of the best scenes in this movie, definitely.
oh, absolutely.
And you hear her
Without
scream, and
no
it
doubt.
pulls you in. It sets off your emotions.
Damn. It's funny because this almost reminds me of like all those great prison scenes where you're like, "Fuck," because you see this the police officers park, block off the thing, and then they turn their backs to the scene that doesn't exist yet. So it's like, fuck, even the police I can't trust. And ooh, so I'm just gonna. This is the first time I ever thought about it. I'm gonna watch this from a mechanical perspective, gun handling and such.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit confused because earlier I said the moment Denzel Washington had this kind of revelation where the bullet doesn't fire off. It's like, okay, this is the beginning of the first act. This is like a midpoint right now.
Oof.
Let's say, yeah. Like,
Yeah, this is ultimately your conflict.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's shooting like Book of Eli, which is another great Denzel movie. All of his shots are way too perfect for being so so rocked. Two headshots after not even aiming on that second one.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's impressive, but that's definitely movies.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's cool about this is the way he shoots and takes down the officers, and then even shows the corruption. It seems like something to be very real. Like it doesn't seem incredibly fake. This seems like something that's very believable. And that's what keeps you pulled in. You don't have to imagine it. This feels like something you could literally experience or be a part of.
So Hollywood aside, what I like, especially if you look at his facial mannerisms towards the second part of that sequence, is that pay attention to it throughout the rest of the movie. He's always calm.
Oh, yeah.
Always. Even when he's dealing with a hairy situation where he's like, all right, am I surrounded? Whatever the case may be. It doesn't happen too often, but like, no matter what he's doing, which is probably why I like his interactions with everybody, not just the people he likes. Because even when he's talking to the bad people, he's not necessarily yelling at them. He's not trying too hard. He's like, this is my job. I'm just gonna ask you a few questions so I can be on my way. Like he's like the IRS man. He just shows up, he pisses you off, but he's literally just.
I love that, man. Oh
he's
my
the
God.
tax man.
John Creasy,
You know what I
IRS
mean? Like,
confirmed.
they just take your money and they're not happy with them.
Exactly. So like, I wonder if you guys have already picked up on that, but pay attention to it throughout the rest of the movie. Like he's not anxious.
Well, there's actually one scene where he's like kind of losing his shit a little bit, and that's when he is meeting the brother of the voice and his family. But
it's the first time he loses it.
Yeah, but I don't think he loses it. I think he just
I wanna watch it
uses.
again.
I think he just uses his loud voice to kind of convince them. I don't think he actually loses his cool. He's just being a little bit loud.
Okay, yeah, that's the way I
what I'm
saw
trying
it.
to say? Yeah,
At the
yeah.
very least.
I don't think he's like panicking. You know.
No.
Basically, almost got run over by the other guy and like had to catch him. And he's just like, I think it's more so he's raising his voice because he's like, I'm pissed off at you. Don't you fucking tempt me.
Yeah, and you got to remember
Make
he's
that
been
very
shot
clear.
at that point, so everything has that extra level of I don't have time to fuck around, and I'm actually in a lot of pain, and I haven't taken anything for it, not even a drink.
Yeah.
So like everything is just much more frustrating than he was, but he's still calm, cool, and collected.
Hey Knox, you were mentioning that you were like that you watch those movies like when you're with your friends or like family, and it's just like in the background, you know, and you casually like doing some comment. I believe this is like the moment where everyone goes to the bathroom or like getting a drink or something. This is where you cool off. You know? I don't know. Am I the only one? Am I the only one who feels like that right now?
Like, okay, you deal with the kidnapping. I'm checking out. Everyone just kind of wanders off. I'm like, this isn't any
Right.
fun to watch.
I remember.
It's funny because absolutely. I think this is when I checked my phone earlier today.
Right.
Or when I was watching it. I don't know what it is, but there's something about this particular 10-minute stretch. I think it's less than that, but it feels longer. And it's funny that you bring it up, but after that, the rest of the movie I'm fine with.
Absolutely.
That is funny that you said that. But I think it's only because I've seen it so many times. So it's like, I know that they're sad. Like, don't remind me that they're sad. I just want to get to the part. Because, yeah, this is the... After you've seen it so many times and you know what comes next, this is the part of the movie that's like, all right, can we just get to the John Wick experience versus...
Yeah, that's the question. That's the question. How was the movie advertised in the first place? Because it could be literally anything. When we had the swimming scene in like some kind of alternative universe, John Creasy becomes her new father, or like so it becomes like a kind of rom-com, and we have a love triangle.
Yes.
And in the end, John Creasy becomes the new father. I can totally see that, and I'm totally okay with that. A former CIA agent becomes like, finds joy in life again, and he becomes like some kind of, he's working on a kind of a farm, you know. And now I'm happy with my life. I can totally see that, but it takes a whole different turn. So the question is, how was this movie advertised? Because John Wick, everyone knew what it was before you even go into the fucking cinema. You know it's a revenge movie. You know John Wick is gonna kick ass. What is Man on Fire? Was it advertised?
Oh, no.
It's
I watched the trailer before this, and I think it really was just... Maybe you didn't know the premise of it? No, never mind. No, you kind of knew it. It's like this guy, he's doing his job, and then the girl disappears. It sets it up as more as, in the movie, as nuance. But I recall it set it up as it's just a man going out for revenge. Because, I mean, yeah, they weren't trying to sell it as anything but a Hollywood summer blockbuster.
It's because when
I recall.
You could say, if you were to put it, you know, in a trailer, like, it's old world justice, because you still see that kind of Mexico style, like things aren't really done in the West. Like, there's that scene where the guy from Interpol, who's now the FBI agent or whatever in Mexico, he like, you know, grabs the reporter on the ass. Like, they still have a little thing back together. It's still kind of that old world Mexico vibe. But everyone kind of agrees at the end that this is justice. So like, yeah, go ahead, go out and cause some chaos, Creasy. You're doing a good job. Because that's the vibe we get from everyone, you know, towards the resolution of this movie.
I wonder, I gotta go back to, when did Taken come out? Because I feel like it had the same energy in terms of marketing as Taken, where it was all hung around that one line. I have a particular set of skills, and in this movie, it's, I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill all of them.
Taken is 2008. I mean, 96 hours, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
but more or less, I think it hinged around that. Like, it's a regular movie, but it's the attitude of the main character, and then I think all the marketing, if I recall correctly, all the marketing hinged on that one line. It's like, what are you gonna go do? It wasn't, I'm gonna go get your daughter back. It was, no, I'm gonna kill all of them.
Yeah, what I was thinking when I was first watching this movie was like, okay, this is gonna be like some crime thriller thing, because the way the movie kicks off, every 60 minutes there's like one kid missing in Mexico. This reads like some kind of, okay, we have like a crime story, and you see like in the trailer, the parents on their phone waiting for the police to call them, like, hey, we found your daughter and stuff like that. It's like some kind of crime thing, but I don't see it becoming like a revenge massacre, stuff like that.
No, and I'm glad you noticed that. I just like that it could easily be a regular movie about like this guy that has a second chance at healing from whatever he had to do back when he was younger.
Absolutely.
And all the characters around, even like the Mickey Rourke and everyone, they all play their part. Like, it feels very systemized, and Creasy's the anomaly that throws off their system, and they feel like they can take a chunk of money and do the insurance plan. We'll get the kidnapping policy, but then you have a guy like Creasy, and you've just given him a willingness to live. It's like, this man is fire and fury. You don't know what he's done. And you see bits of his resume, and you're like, this guy's the real shit. You just gave him a reason to stop drinking alcohol, and now he's really dangerous.
Exactly. This is when it becomes more like John Wick.
I mean, I don't want to stray away from John Wick. I feel like I get the similarity to Taken, but part of me sees that this, you know, with the right situations, because a lot of things fell into place that keep the story going. Like his relationship with the persons who want to clean out corruption in Mexico, moving him from hospital to an animal hospital to keep him alive versus someone killing him in the middle of the night. And then the reporter who wanted a relationship with him, she wanted to be involved with what he did, was really fascinated by it. and liked what he did. The fact that he killed 4 corrupt police officers is like that's more like it's a group thing of anomalies coming together versus Taken. It's I don't know. It's part of it just seems a little too like flashy. Where he comes in, he just somehow kills like 8 different Middle Eastern, or Eastern European guys in some random brothel place. Like, all right, it's cool justice, but it doesn't feel as surreal. Where like the right things could fall together and it would become a story.
What I call pornographic.
Yeah,
very pornographic. I'm thinking about Equalizer 2 specifically, where similar setups, but it's one of those, or no, not similar setups, but similar storytelling in the idea.
It's definitely parts of the storytelling here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But again, Equalizer is definitely the inferior movie compared to Men on Fire. It's again just like generic.
Oh, here it is. Okay, I thought it was later on in the movie where he smokes the cigarette backwards. I don't know if anyone ever noticed
that. Yeah, I saw that one too.
I thought it was later on in the movie, but yeah, around like 45 seconds. You can go to 45 seconds. What do you call it? An hour or 59:45.
All right,
it's just something that I've never seen, and I'm like, oh, is this by accident? But of course not. And it's just this guy that has a lot of power, a lot of money, doing whatever the fuck he wants. Like when you've done everything, and the world has very little to offer you in terms of novelty, sometimes you just got to go to the classic things and do them weird.
That's the question. That's the question. Was it like Tony Scott telling him, "Hey, smoke it backwards," or was it just? I don't know, man.
Look disheveled.
It would be cool if it was like written in the script, stuff like that. It was like, it's so because if it was, that's so cool.
That's the other thing.
That would be so interesting to see. Okay, Tony Scott, tell me why did you choose like in this particular situation to tell him to do this or that? And it's so interesting to hear what are his reasons for doing this. It's so interesting.
Yeah. So the next time I watch it, I'll watch it with the sound on to see if there's any correlation between how he's talking and why he's smoking that way. But I love the flippant attitude at the very least it conveys. This guy's flippant. He's not trying to negotiate the way that you want to negotiate.
Well, even when Ramos takes the bags of money, drives around and takes them to the drop off in the car, I keep getting that vibe from Ramos that he's not the strong man he wants to be or that he should be. Because he's just doing whatever it's telling him to do, and it still just fails on him. Because then the brother or the nephew gets shot, and the money gets stolen, and he's just walking away. Because like he told me to walk away, and he's looking back. It's like this is chaos unfolding. It definitely instills in on the fact that Ramos is kind of a weaker male character. That he truly isn't in charge of his realm as much as it may look like he should be. But then you cut back to Creasy, and Christopher Walken's telling Creasy about she died, there was an issue, and blah blah blah, and that look on his face, it's not so sad. It's like, I mean, the look looks mixed a bit of sad, but it's also like, what the fuck? Like, why'd you do that? I don't know. I see a bit of both in that look. And he's sitting in the bed in the hospital.
Yeah, I'm seeing it right now. Yeah. It's also like the close up of this little thing that Peter was gifting him with. It's super cool. It's super cool. Guys, what's your take? Like this whole 50% of the movie subtitles, right? Yeah, but it wouldn't be authentic if you watch a movie that takes place in Mexico and everyone is speaking English. It comes across as more authentic, yeah.
But they find nice ways to do it, and everything is like kindergarten level Spanish. I feel like I speak Spanish when I watch this movie. I'm like, I understand what they're saying, and I've never taken. No, I took like 3 weeks of Spanish.
Bro, that's because of the subtitles, man.
No, you won't let me have it.
I gotta say real quick, Giancarlo Giannini, the kind of, I don't know, some fucking police detective in this movie. I fucking love this guy. Some people age gracefully, and he's one of them. I think he actually looked worse when he was younger, doing like some Italian movies. Some people age really, really well, and he's one of those. Fucking chain
I didn't
smoker.
know. I didn't know his name until you told me. I just know his face and his personality in every movie.
It's always the same. He's doing
Nothing against him. I just don't know my actors like that. But absolutely, he's been a staple of like so much of what I think of.
everyone
these
is
kind of
everyone
dramas.
is bringing their A game here, man. It's so crazy.
That's what really sticks out. Is it's a good story, but I don't know what it is. They got the right mix of characters, the right mix of actors, and the right characters, and the scenery and I just feel like it was a good culmination. Like I look at this movie as it's a good project of everyone collaborated beautifully on it.
Also, like I don't see anyone else pulling off this role except Denzel, and that I think that says a lot about him and the movie.
Yeah, it's a different movie.
I mean, you can do John Wick, and it would be, I don't know, Liam Neeson or whatever, and it would still work somehow. It would still work. In this movie, difficult.
Yeah. Well, even when they pick him up in the hospital, and you take a look, and he realizes the reporter's tailing him, and he's just immediately his sense isn't off. He just got out of the hospital, and nearly died, and he still just lives in a car, just looking to see who's tailing him. Like that's that level of like CIA that we don't know where he came from, but he's glued on his details. Even getting out of a situation of nearly dying. Christopher Walken's sitting on a bench. He's just hitting on every beautiful Mexican lady that walks by him.
Yeah, this is a well-researched movie. I would say that.
Because you even see him, he goes back to where she was kidnapped, and he just examines and looks around the area, and he really thinks like he's like this man. He's on a mission. I definitely get the feel when I said relentless, because he's looking back. He's like, what the fuck happened, and how can he do whatever he does with it? I think that's the definitely thing is like. In no part do you really feel like he's a truly weak character. Like, all right, even when he's doing the alcohol and whatnot thing, that was through like a recourse of him killing people and whatnot. So, yes, he was sad and he was doing a down time, but you almost feel for him. Like, yes, he may have been a little bit of a weak character at the time, but you understand it. It's not that you can't understand it.
And this is so awesome.
Pain.
Yeah, you have like fucking 40, 50, 60 seconds of him just close up on his face. That's all you need to know.
Yo.
No dialogue at all. Perfect.
It's funny, I never noticed it, but the doctor says he should be in bed for a month.
Yeah.
And he doesn't do that.
I like that for many reasons. Cool.
Yeah, this is also the movie kind of. I wouldn't say it slows down. I think it takes a deep breath before it really dives into this whole thing. I can still see people getting food at this part. Like oh no, come back 10 minutes later. That's when the movie kicks in. Yeah.
Even when you take a look, the newspaper reporter follows him and she gives him advice and talks to him. She's involved with the corruption, and he just fell into the situation that like corrupt cops went after PETA, and he's just like I said, relentless. His whole character is strong male. It's like, I don't like this. Whoever did this, they just took away what I was enjoying doing. And if you want to help me, go ahead. And he's really skittish about her too. But then he kind of even tests her out a little bit to see if she's able to give him info, and he just treats her like someone helping him.
I'm trying to figure out where's the point where he makes the decision to stay, because for the most part it seems like he's following through. It's harder to tell with it on mute.
Also, like enjoy the last seconds or the last minutes of I would say quiet and very still shots before it gets really messy. We get
because after he talks to the reporter in the park, it gets interesting.
Right. We get like the
cinematography.
This is where I think this is where we're gonna say a lot of things. When the action kicks in and we get like frequent cuts, it makes you feel how jarring this entire killing spree would also feel like, and See, this is the point where many people criticize this movie because this many people like actually complaining. I get like migraine and headaches from watching this movie, and I can understand it to a point. I really do. But you know, we are in the mind of an ex-alcoholic who is like blinded by rage. He sees everything just flickering. It makes a lot of sense. It's of course a stylistic choice, but you know
I
what I'm trying
never
to say.
thought about it that way.
Look at the shots; they're so well curated. It's when they're talking, close-ups on their face. When they're not talking, zoomed out just enough to show what they're doing and focus on that. In between that, just broad, wide shots. There must have been so many shoot days just to get all this B-roll and whatnot. But it plays into the story beautifully.
I don't know what it is. I just don't like journalists.
Yeah.
It might just be a self-loathing thing. I used to be one. But it's...
The good news is they're almost always assholes in movies as well. So yeah.
There you go. So the way everyone hates the kidnapper is the way that I just don't like this character. And it's just... but that's a personal thing. I just don't understand.
One of you guys said from the 48-minute mark the movie kicks in, but well, it takes its time. It takes its time. It's really, yeah.
For some reason, oh no, the kidnapping scene starts at 49. That's what it is.
Oh, I see. That's what you said.
Yeah, you're right. But again, most of this movie is the exact opposite of what we think it is because we've seen it, we love it. We always think about the action. But when you really boil it down, it's kind of like a baseball game. Like if they had no commercials or whatever, it'd probably be only 12 minutes long. Meanwhile, it's a 2.5 hour long movie. But it's funny because I think Jason said it a moment ago, which is I can relate this more to Taken than I can John Wick.
Yeah, it feels more special, more family.
And they more or less came out around the same time.
Yeah, but I gotta say, Taken doesn't develop the characters as well as Man on Fire.
No, that's the 90-minute version. Yeah. But it has a lot of those same little milestones.
The same beats, definitely. Yeah,
the same beats. Thank you.
Yeah.
Except for this journalist character. But it makes sense. It's a great way to have him have access to all the information he needs without him having a friend that was always there all along.
Why do I feel like I jumped ahead of you guys? Because I'm at the part where he goes into the old house and he finds the diary because he realizes he needs a license plate on that car.
I'm there as well.
Back when he was in the car with her and he noticed something weird, he was writing down the license plate. And PETA, she was a smart little character. Like she saw what he's doing and write it down in her little diary too. And even she told him on the way to drop her off. He's like, I got it too, and I just missed the last number. No. And she literally was able to set up a clue for him to help find her.
Which is also a very nice thing is Denzel is now on a run. He's doing like his revenge thing, but he's also collecting information. And whatever kind of information he collects, he writes it down in that very diary, which is so beautiful.
So personal.
It's strictly business, right?
Exactly, and I lovingly agree as I'm sitting next to my pen and my moleskin. So yeah, that's the way to do it.
Hey guys, you keep it going. Just a little heads up. I'm gonna get a quick coffee. I'm gonna be back in 30 seconds. It's 3 a.m. here in Germany. I need a quick coffee, man.
Oh man, I always forget we're not in the same place.
You're right back. You get going.
Good for you, brother. Go for it. We'll be here. So the part that I'm at is where am I? Yeah, he's entering the room. I think I might be like a minute behind you, Jason.
Oh, okay.
This will be interesting to rewatch, at least this like 10-minute area to figure out when is the point where he decides either by saying it or by conveying that he's going to stick around and go all out war.
Yeah, because this is a great scene. He gets the information, he talks to the wife, and then it's that amazing scene where he ends up talking to her. It's just like, she hears him talk about it, it's just like, holy. And he's so masculine, but he's, people can say what they want, masculinity, good, bad, whatever, but he's masculine in the way exactly everyone needs in this scene. Is she, she'd love to see some justice for her daughter, and she's frustrated. And who wouldn't be? Like, your daughter got kidnapped, and there's nothing you can do about it. You're frustrated. Here's the man who you hired coming back saying, I just want to see how things work, check out, to see the diary. And she's like, well, what are you going to do? He's like, I'm going to kill him. Everyone had involvement with Prophet, anything they had to do. And it's just like, that's that moment where you're like, I don't give a fuck. You're masculine, and that's good because you're relentless on a mission, and I'm frustrated. I can't get any help for my daughter, and you're going to go figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a country to country thing. We're all kind of frustrated with our police systems. The bureaucracy, they're just slow.
Oh man, I just when I'm watching these movies, that's all I think about because it's like I would never want to have to entrust my family. Yeah, basically, I'm not gonna say too much because I think I would just end up in jail if any of this stuff happened to my family because I wouldn't rely on the cops.
Yeah, and it's one of those last lawless lands where you can do it, like Texas or Mexico. You can still kind of do that. Everyone has a story of something they heard or something they heard of another person heard in Mexico, and you're just like, wait, what? And you're like, that's just a different world.
It really is. I mean, anywhere that isn't home is a dangerous place to be. Even if you grew up in the ghettos of America, like you're probably safer there than once you step out of your realm, or you're a fish out of water, so anything could be an attack against you. So it's like,
and I love it because they custom that right into that 9 Inch Nails song, and it just shows him in some random warehouse just getting a whole bunch of guns, and you're just like, what is he doing? And he's just focused, picking everything out what he wants for what reason. He's just got a plan. You're like, he's a master in his realm.
Oh yeah. So I wanted to know, is there some sort of injury in his right arm in this movie? Because if you watch, especially earlier on, he just walks around as if his right arm is limp.
You mean because of the burns? He's like kind of burned, right?
I just don't know for sure. I'm wondering if it's actually spoken to in any way because I'm just making assumptions. Because I didn't know if that was just him having a personal injury as a human being, or if it was something with the actor, and maybe they're like trying to hide it from us. But his right arm is always limp. Wait, left arm?
Because they did show scenes where his hand had burns on, but they didn't hit nothing at his arm.
Yeah. As if he was like shot in the shoulder. It almost looks as if it's just like look at this right now, the way he's handling the weapons. So for me, it's his left arm, not his right arm. Like, he doesn't use his left arm a lot in this movie. I don't know if anyone else noticed that.
Oh, yeah, he's pretty much right-hand dominant the whole time.
But beyond that, like, more dominant than me with my right hand. Like,
I love when you tell me he's on the scene of the weapons, and I'm just excited to roll back so I can hear that 9 Inch Nails song.
No, I'm at Oyakomava right now, in the car.
The reform on
I'm at the newspaper. Yeah, I just don't like journalists.
And she says, if you don't want to use him, I will. It's like, just casually talking to it, the next Interpol agent involved with investigation, she's saying, I'm going to get whatever information I can out of him, help him, I don't really care. This is justice. It's like even the people in known justice, industries out there are saying, fuck it, let's give him some ammo. She used the investigative guy with the AFI to get him information on the license plate, and then next thing you know, next scene, he's got the address where the car's registered at.
Yeah.
And he just sits out there and waits for the guy to get in the car.
Hey Knox, nail down in one sentence why you don't like journalists.
Ooh.
I need to think about that. No, I'm trying to do it in one sentence. It's that you know what? Journalism is like science. And when you're doing it well, all you're doing is the best that you have access to understand. So as a journalist, you don't tell the truth. You tell the story of the resources you had access to before the deadline. For instance, So I will say this, which is it's not about, oh, I need to find cancer statistics and I need a cancer expert. You're not looking for the number one expert. You're only so already there's a skewed idea of what's real and what's truth, and it defies the effort of even going after it. And that's before you get into all bias and propaganda.
I see.
Yeah. So people are better off telling themselves stories and asking questions directly because that's all a journalist is doing. And they publish whatever they're told, not what actually is thoroughly vetted.
Yeah, there was a little bit longer than one sentence, but I got the idea.
Yeah, I'd rather
yeah,
do it.
yeah. I can agree with you in that. Yeah, it's this weird kind of feeling you get when you think about this job and you see how, I don't know, journalists react in interviews and stuff. Something is off. Something is off of them. Something is foul, and I can't put my finger on it what it is. But yeah.
Yeah, they make their job bigger than it actually is. It's very important, don't get me wrong, but the way it's executed.
Yeah, don't get me started on people making their job more important than it really is. And spend enough time around theater, people.
Go watch that TV show. What was it? Newsroom? Aaron Sorkin wrote it.
Oh, I did like the show in the beginning. The first episode was good.
But beyond the first episode?
Yeah.
But Aaron Sorkin, which is probably a topic for another thing. I haven't watched much of his stuff, but his movies I like. Aaron Sorkin is a guy that writes material about people who are very passionate about their jobs.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so Newsroom, The West Wing. So he gives you these like idealized versions of what a president and his staff would sound like. But in reality, it's like, no, they're probably like regular people at regular jobs, and they might like aspects of it, but they're not so diligently fighting for justice in the White House or so diligently fighting for truth in the newsroom.
Okay, all right, I gotta divert. We're in an important scene right now, and I think you should make a point. You guys are watching it too right now, where he's got the guy in the car. Oh, come on! You're telling me that doesn't show? Cause you hear the guy get frustrated and annoyed, and the whole time, Creasy's just very calm and collected. Doesn't like what he says, just cuts off into the finger. Fuck you.
Yep. Exactly. I gave you the parameters.
I warned you, and then he just delivers it without hesitation.
The camera takes its moment to stay like 1 second longer on Denzel's face so we can see his expression. You can actually see his calm, you know?
Yeah, he's just so incredibly calm. Saws away the next finger in the guy and cauterizes it.
And you know what that means? That means two things. One, emotional control, but here's the other part. Experience being in this situation.
Done it before.
That's the only way you know that, oh, this is going to work out, so I don't have to put any extra energy on this. I forgot what movie it is, but like he actually laughs at the movie. He goes like, this is going to end really quickly because most people can't do more than 3 fingers. And sure enough, like when they enact the scene, the guy gives up after like losing his first or second finger.
Oh, wow.
So like when you get at this level, you recognize the pattern, so you threaten things that you know you won't have to go through with.
Also, this is the first time. Yeah.
It'll have to cut off all 10 fingers.
Does he? I thought when I rewatched it, he only did a few, and then I think he kills him.
Yeah.
He did, because he hit a point where he was getting the results he wanted. And as soon as he stopped getting the results he wanted, he just cut off another finger.
Oh, I thought you said all his fingers. Yes.
Yeah, because remember, the guy who's getting interrogated in the car, he says, I'm a professional. Yet, even, like, he had never, prepared himself for the situation that one day he would be caught and in this situation. And he acts all tough and puts on the front, do you know who I am? And blah, 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 like this big ego. Then he's in the car, and he's like, you still don't know what you're doing. And then Denzel's character is like, I know what I'm doing. And he just casually cuts off his finger and shows him. He shows him by doing. He warns him, and then he just does it.
Yeah.
Which shows them like such a serious level of like they think they're hot shit and they know what they're doing and they're badass people who kidnap. But Denzel's just, you can tell him just the way his character handles himself. Like you said, his emotional control as he tortures the guy.
Yeah.
Denzel's the real professional.
There's actually 2 things. He's a professional, but he's also doing it in a very charming way. sometimes has little smirks on his face. The way he's like, it's like hanging out with a
Steve
friend.
McQueen thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that out there. That's a Steve
He
McQueen
enjoys
thing.
it, man. Yeah, Steve McQueen.
But you know what's something that I really like? I don't know where y'all are, but when he takes the sunglasses off,
I am there as well.
I don't know if it's
Yeah.
anything significant, but to me it is in that he gave this guy his dignity while he was. This isn't about humiliating him. It's just about, hey, I need information. You're the only person that has it. Let's have a conversation. It's not, oh, you're a shitty person because you do these things to kids and you profit off of it. It's just, even though he doesn't like this man's work, he respects it, and he at least gives him a way to save face by saying, yeah, you can still wear your sunglasses. I'll take your shirt off, and I'll put your hands to the steering wheel, and I'll cut them in front of you, but I'm not gonna like break your glasses to make you feel less.
He chops it off by putting a cigarette in his mouth so he can smoke a cigarette as he puts a bull in his head.
Yeah.
Like, that's personal. Saying, cool, I respect it, you do what you did, but I'm here, I'm doing a job, and I'm better at it. Creasy kills him.
Yep. And then, you know what? It also could be a tactic, as in a way to make him feel comfortable. Like, I'm gonna let you walk away from this. I just need to get some few answers.
No, as for me, the guy who was he was giving him the cigarette, and that Mexican guy, I think from that moment on he knew. He knew he's not gonna get out there alive.
Oh yeah.
He accepted his fate.
It's a trope in cinema, you know, the last cigarette, stuff like that. I have seen that often before, but yeah.
Absolutely. That would be nice to have one last Cohiba.
I love this one after when the federal agent finds the car and he looks at the license plate and he's just like, he throws paper away real quick. He's like, I gave the news reporter the license and now
I forgot.
the guy's dead. Oh, and then here comes the rave scene, which is, I see what you're saying.
This is the rave?
Outside.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Tony Scott does that a lot.
Yeah. You know what my
the whole day just watching the rave. I mean, that's persistence. That's still that level of just professionalism that he has no problem committing his whole day to doing this, and he knows what he's going to do.
Oh my god, him putting on the bandana, my favorite scene of the whole movie, man. Oh my god, man.
They explain everything.
Yeah.
That's a moment where, like, one moment he's wearing it one way and they're like, all right, no, we have to actually show him putting this on. Sometimes I
feel like a director has actually been to a rave. He has actually been to Mexico. He's actually killed people. He's doing it in such an authentic way. And sometimes you just watch movies and you're like, this is the idea of what the director thinks a rave is like. And that's why it feels off. But this one feels so authentic. I don't know if you guys have ever been to one. It is exactly what it is. This is so messy and all that. It feels so real.
Yeah, it feels like the real mess. Plus, in most like raves, you could probably walk right through with a gun, and as long as you're not actively causing trouble, no one's going to cause a fuss.
Yeah, also in the end, he's shooting like in the air with the shotgun, and everybody goes like, "Yeah, do it again." You know,
they're just on their drugs.
It sells the culture, whether or not it's real or not.
And I think John Wick kind of stole from that moment. Because I remember John Wick actually killing people on the dance floor, and I was like, "Oh, that's part of the show."
But it also happens in every other scene where just there's violence on the subway. There's violence everywhere, and people are mostly unfazed by it, and it's part of the laughing, the ongoing joke of the John Wick universe.
I mean, it's kind of true coming from the city. I've seen like homeless people getting in fights and stabbing each other, and we're all just like, "Fuck this." I mean, you just flee the area. You don't get involved because it's not worth it.
Well, one, I don't think we should get involved, and then two, it definitely is not worth it. I stay out of my business. That's a very New York thing. There's a new viral video going around of like a guy smacking a girl on the subway, and nobody doing anything.
Oh yeah.
And the first thing I thought was, why are all these people sad about it? Like, if this guy didn't make a video. If this guy got involved instead of making a video, you would have nothing to virtue signal about.
Oh yeah, I mean, clearly feminism isn't important if you let her get beat on the subway when all those wonderful people are there to help him or help her.
No, my heart just skipped a beat when you said there's this new video going viral. anxious you would mention Will Smith's wife. You know?
Oh, did she say something silly?
like she actually returned to the red table. It's some stupid shit again. I don't believe it, man.
And I feel like that table is in every room of their house. All right, go on. Do I want to know this?
That's the thing about Man on Fire is I like you could say masculine, good, bad, toxic, whatever. It's like there's necessary level to it. Like what he does, or Creasy does, where he goes around and interrogates these people who do evil shit. They act like a cog in the system. They say, "Oh, it's no big deal. I just, I hold a girl for 3 days on top of my club, and I get $200 a week, and I pass her off." It's like, you never stop to think about it. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Is it really worth $200 a week to be doing that? And it's kind of good that
every 2 weeks. Damn.
Yeah, whatever they talk about it here in this interrogation.
I don't know why that's funny to me. Yeah, no, I mean, I remember hearing it the first time, but I realized it's worse. It's every 2 weeks. I don't understand how this is profitable for everyone involved, even in pesos.
Oh yeah, no way. Well, and you just need someone like Creasy that's like he's the real strong, tough, masculine character, like you said in the last interrogation scene, where even like when he's here, he holds up the picture, says, "Did you say goodbye to her? Did you say goodbye to her?" He's like, "No, fuck you." He says, "Did you say goodbye to her?" And he just shoots him right there. He's like, he's just like, no, and he plays the charisma. He plays that like fun. He's like, cool. You thought you're cool. You thought you're hot shit. Cool. Go ahead.
Would you guys say the character of Creasy actually takes pleasure in doing what he does there?
That's a good question. Does any artist necessarily take pleasure in doing what they do well?
Good point, man. Good point.
Yeah, I think there's a certain pain to it.
My thing is like, I wonder what it's like for you, Jason, specifically. Now I'm thinking about it, but it's like there are things that I do well that I get paid for. I don't necessarily enjoy it. What I enjoy is people responding to it.
Oh, there's things I do very well, and I feel like it stresses and tears me apart. And I'm like, I get like a thank you message and like a text. I'm like, wait, what? Wait, you're calling me patient? I thought I was losing my shit on you.
Yes.
It's like, wait a minute, I guess I am. And you just see the results, and you're like, you know what? That was great, because then now I got all these random people I've never met before, and they're so happy and thankful to work with me. And I just got these 3 other people. I'm just giving them shit in just the right level, not too crazy. It's like, man, I'm a little calibrated.
Yeah, just always funny. But if I could be called an artist, I'm always going to say that I care less about the work. I love watching people watch my work.
Oh, I think that's definitely the vibe with Man on Fire, because it's the people around him, like the news reporter or the FBI agent, like, or even like Peter's mother. Like, she's just like, yeah, do what you do best.
Yeah.
And she's just very comfortable knowing that she's going to hear back later about something he did or whatever. She's just like, defend my daughter.
Also, Creasy plays an addict in this movie, right? He's addicted to alcohol, and he quits midway to the movie or a little bit earlier. There's scenes when he's like killing people. He looks very, I would say, relieved when he does that. He looks like he's being completely himself. There's no mask in front of his face. He's completely himself, enjoying himself completely. You could even go in a dark place and say, yeah, this is his real addiction, and he hasn't done this for a long time. This is the first time he can do this, and he's really, I can do this. I'm doing what I want to do. There's no one telling me.
He's taking pride in what he's good at.
Yeah. And I think I would love if Addiction Talks actually talked about this concept. Because you're not addicted necessarily because your life is bad. It's usually an addiction to fill the gaps in between the thing that you really love to do, but you can't do it.
Like
I'm a rock star. I can only do so many shows in a given week. In between those shows where I'm fully alive and I can just be this version of myself that is the most authentic of myself, I only have that for a few hours every so often. So to fill in that time where I'm going to the lowest of lows compared to that highest of highs, I need something, alcohol, girls, whatever. Like, I mean, think of ourselves and all of our friends. Our vices only show up when we're not able to do the thing that we love to do the most.
Point.
Yeah. I mean,
I
whether or
mean,
not
he
he
gets
becomes
killed.
an addict
He gets
is
tortured.
another thing.
I even enjoyed this post nightclub where he's somehow got someone's daughter he found amongst the crew, and he's got this woman who he's basically tortured a little, and she told him everything. She just started blabbing everything. He gives both of them over to the news reporter. She's like, "This is Camilla. Yeah, I don't know. I found her. You want her? Can you help her out? This is Camilla."
And I wonder if there's a reason why he chooses not to kill that woman. Not
I
necessarily.
can see him being a man with ethics.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Yeah.
She didn't seem like she was a leader. She seemed like she was just there by happenstance. If you look at her character.
He's more trusting than I am.
Yeah, maybe I am now. It could be that she doesn't yield much of a threat.
It could be so many things, but it's something that I think about because no one else survives,
Yeah.
and she's not innocent. She might know more than all the other people that he interrogated.
Well, I think it was also that he's asking her questions. She wasn't hesitating to giving answers.
Yeah.
You look at the binary, it's
That
like,
helps.
hey, I want this answer. She's like, what? You don't have this. And she's like, but I have another girl. And she just kept going and going.
It's interesting.
Theories. I'll yield theories.
No, and that's why I brought it up so I could hear your take.
Yeah, David's been a little quiet. I'm curious what he thinks about him letting the woman live.
You mean the older one, not the little girl, right?
Yeah, the older one. Well, why
Well,
would you kill the little girl? That makes no sense.
It kind of, I don't know, maybe kind of mirrors the. Okay, forget this stupid question.
really is German.
Maybe it's a Hollywood thing, you know. Maybe we wouldn't be able to make a hero of Creasy if he would have killed that woman who
that's
so much pledged for. Oh, please have mercy on me. I think this would be a moment where, because we can still see, okay, if he kills that asshole in the car and cuts off his fingers, we don't feel alienated from him. We still feel like, yeah, okay, he has every reason to do that. But then it sees like this poor woman there. It's just like maybe happens to be at the wrong place at the right time. Plus, she's a woman. There's no other woman he's harming in this movie. There's also this.
Yeah, he does come close.
Yeah.
But it's more like I think he looks at it more like an asset. Like she's someone to prove that I'm not here just to kill, and she's playing along and she doesn't really yield. I don't know. Maybe she doesn't seem like she could. Yeah, I'm curious because there's a lot of ideas in that one, and call it sexism, whatever you want to call it. But she doesn't give the same character vibe as like some of the others, like that. Like she's like when he went to the club and they showed the pictures, like, did you know this girl? And he's just like grumpy. He's just like this big football player looking dude. And like he's like, who's that girl? It's like, this, he's got to put a gun to him to get an answer. It's like, no, take me upstairs.
Now, from a Machiavellian perspective, I see it as using a resource to the best that you can, which is to say, she's worth more to him alive, because now he gets to give back to the woman that's been giving him so much information to help him on his mission. We always have to pay those that help us. So in the long run, it's better to give her this offering of someone who's going to tell you everything, Miss Journalist, which is what every journalist wants to hear. Like someone who knows everything, and then they're happy to reveal their name. All right, let's do it.
Good point. Good point. Yeah.
I like that take. Don't bite the hand that feeds.
Yeah, that's very intriguing. Yeah. Plus, it does show that he's not. Yeah, it's intriguing. I like your perspective on that. It shows a new insight.
Also, like
I didn't think you'd be a Wild West type of person either. Like you're a valuable asset. It's more of a Wild West thing. I'm not going to kill the girl that'll bring me to the father or whatever.
Also, we are a little bit biased because we already know the ending. We know Peter is not dead; she's alive. But at this point of the movie, everyone, of course, thinks she's dead, rightfully so. And then we see him rescuing a little girl. And what I think, or what I can interpret is maybe some of his humanity coming back, because he's like, okay, I couldn't save Peter, but I could save another one. You can see him becoming kind of a little bit weak again, kind of like, hey, it wasn't all for nothing. I don't really believe in what I'm saying right now, but it could be an option, right?
No, it works. There is no wrong, but it's great to think about it from these different perspectives because it's how we navigate real life. We don't go through the things that Creasy is choosing to do, but we have similar situations where we're playing high stakes games, we're negotiating with people, and we're making choices on how to use our connections so we don't disregard them or what do you call it, take them for granted, but actually turn them into something that is mutually beneficial.
Well, like up here where he goes up to Fuentes, he breaks into some like old couple's house. They're both in like their 70s or 80s. He says, "I'm not here to hurt you." He makes them sit in the couch, and then stands up with like a rocket launcher.
Probably for hours.
Oh yeah.
Waiting for the right time. I like how they imply that time lapse because that's something where it's like if you're doing this job that he's doing, a lot of it is hurry up and wait.
Oh yeah.
You can't get the perfect shot by showing up 5 minutes beforehand.
Jason, I could refer to something right now, but I'm not doing it. I think you know what I'm trying to say.
Never
That'll
mind.
be between us. I don't know if we can talk to Papi about that.
I guess. Things I know.
This is like even Creasy. Like, how did he know that this over, where he's at, this third floor apartment, this old couple is gonna, be there right where this guy comes through? Like, he probably just spent all day just walking around.
Oh,
here
I love this line. Sorry, this is the church God forgives line.
Oh, I love this line. God forgives, only I arrange.
And then the grandpa just gets really silent. He makes a little face.
Like, it would be so cool to have like the movie completely from their perspective, like a really boring life, and then suddenly like this guy comes like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh man!
I love how I'm like 1 minute ahead of you. I'm right where he starts to do his thing, and I'm like, I love this scene.
My favorite scene is the I guess the anal bomb.
Yeah.
See,
like mine's right after that, where he goes into the apartment with the brother.
And then they go to the roof, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a good one. I mean, that's where it's like there really is a low tolerance threshold.
Oh yeah.
But I like how nice he is. He's incredibly charming in that middle interrogation.
He's just there to kill Fuentes. He doesn't have to kill this 80-year-old couple. It's like that serves no purpose. And he's really fascinating how he makes his decisions along the way.
Guys, are you aware that there is an alternative ending to Man on Fire out there?
Oh, don't! Oh my God, don't!
Okay. So
I think I'm good without it.
Jason, are you familiar with it?
No, I'm not.
Okay,
we don't want to be familiar is what we're saying.
It's really, really bad. It's really, really bad. Okay, I think I'm gonna skip that one. But if you want to see something really shitty, just type a Man on Fire alternative ending on YouTube, and you're gonna be really disappointed. I'm really glad they didn't do that.
It's so thorough. That's what I keep thinking of whenever I see him. So he's throwing a frag under the car. Even after he shot the windshield, I think he unloads a clip into the windshield.
Doesn't do much any good.
That's right.
But you throw the frag under the car. It could be a smoke bomb, and they'll think it's. Oh no, it's actually real.
Yeah. I thought he had it just in case, but no, he's like, no, I gotta use it, which is really a skill you want to keep.
He knew exactly what he was doing. Just put your hands in the wheel.
So here it is. Wow, it happens immediately. Okay, so just the way that he talks, it's just a casual thing. I always love that in characters. Again, juxtaposition, contrast. It's like cool, calm, and collected while doing very unnerving things. And he's so nice to the guy. All things considered.
All the actions we see, it's all us filling the blanks in, like what he actually did for a living before this. It's so interesting. like the more crazy stuff, you're like, where the fuck is this guy coming from? What did he do before that?
Let alone he walks back over to the car.
He's sentimental. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, bro. What was it?
Just making a point about the next torture scene, which Yeah, the charisma is something I notice more and more. You point out how he has fun with each torture scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like it how he's sentimental and he's like, this is where the deal went bad. Let's have a reunion.
Some
I
kind of
just noticed that little
nostalgia.
moment.
He takes the reason that he's there and rubs it in their face.
Mm.
But it
Yeah,
doesn't make
he's like
sense.
patting the sweat off of his
Kidnap.
face. Dude is drenched, but he's like, here, let me get your forehead. With this duct tape that will do absolutely nothing for your sweat.
He just rips the duct tape off. I think it's more like an irony thing. He's just like, fuck you, and just rubs it in his head.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, this is more humiliation
And
than the last
I
one.
think this is where the pleasure part comes in, you know.
He put
This-
2 fingers.
He knows how to ruin people's day. There's a bomb in your ass.
Yeah. This is one of those scenes, like, me and my cousins were like, what happens when you have a bomb in your ass and it detonates? Like, what part of you dies first?
It's gonna be the longest 0.5 seconds of your life.
It's one of those, like, barbershop conversations where it's like, all right, do you feel it up until it hits your head? Like, what's going on? Everyone has their theories. Oh, man.
Well, so this is interesting. Now you're making me think about this. So he's killed the people at the rave.
Yeah.
He's killed the guy and cut off his fingers in the car. And now he's about to kill Fuentes. And think of each one. Like at one point, Christopher Walken said killing is his art, and he's about to make his masterpiece. He's not only killing these people; he's leaving behind a trail.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the cops are finding, like, the guy, was it Gonzalez or whatever, in the car, taped there with his fingers. They're going to flip the car over and find the guy's body, the hands taped there. They're going to be like, what the fuck happened? Like, someone at some point is going to see something of that. And then they find that the news reporter's got some, girl from some club that he burnt down. I was like, wait, what happened? And now they're going to find the leftover remnants of his body with probably his hands still zip-tied to the car. And maybe his feet still zip tied there, but the rest is just blown apart. It's like he's not like killing people; he's leaving. He's just kind of leaving his own artwork.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Banksy.
making statements.
Before there was Banksy. John Creasy.
So guys, what makes, like, a little callback to the quote from Christopher Walken? What do you guys think makes the masterpiece in Creasy's art? You know, like. Is it the creativity he uses to kill those people? I'm talking like anal bomb and all this stuff, or is it like the fact that he, I don't know, like when you say killing is an art, I would say the most artful aspect of it is being so cool and calm about it. You know, this is I would say.
I want to be a stickler.
This is what this.
I want to be
yeah.
I want to be a stickler and say that he's the word is death. It's not that he's good at killing people. He's the Grim Reaper himself.
You're correct. You're correct.
And because of that, I wonder if that helps you figure out, like, where you're going with that. Because I mean,
yeah,
what makes him creative about how he introduces you to your new life?
Yeah,
He says that a couple of times. It's like you're on to the afterlife or the next life, whatever. He
Yeah,
says.
the religious aspect is really huge in this movie. You know, it's a little bit on the nose sometimes with the. With the it's a Catholic church that's what we see in the beginning and all this stuff. Yeah, and I'm wondering if he's seeing the hand of God in what he does now. Actually, it would be nice.
I just think he's a soldier. At the end of the day, that's really what I think about it.
Yeah.
And a soldier does what needs to be done.
Too.
Can you say that one more time? I
It's
can't
what I
hear
respect to think about him. He's like relentless. He's on a mission. And it's his whole focus is just that singular mission. I guess charisma and everything's a result. I would have to say that's his art. Is you could just go out and put a bullet in someone's head and try to get the information. But this is the head of the organization that he's essentially killing to get information from.
Mm-hmm.
So not only is he killing him, but he's like, I want to get information from you. And I want everyone else in your organization to know that some American ex-CIA agent just ripped apart your organization. By literally, like, taking your man, killing him, but also defaming him. Like, you figure when someone's got to be in charge of a mob boss organization, they work for it, and there's a spec, there's a process. But when that person gets torn down, that says a statement.
Yep.
That's a fuck you to the organization.
Exactly. We don't recognize your sovereign ability.
And to do it in such a way that that dehumanizes him, is like a bomb in your head. That's a big fuck you. Like you're taking someone's essence and you're saying, I will make it so hard for you to live and put a bomb in your ass.
That's not a big fuck you. That's literally a fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to make it look easy, knowing that this guy's been terrorizing the whole city state for probably decades. And you do it in one. How does he do it again? Oh yeah. Like he plans it out in one day and pulls it off in broad daylight.
Yeah.
So the broad daylight thing. It's with timing. If the response time's 5 minutes, all you have to just drive out of it, and you're fine.
Yeah.
That's why here they go to the next scene where Jordan Kalfas is killed.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where it gets really dark, because Creasy, he's ex-intelligence, or whatever he is. He's looking around the place trying to figure out why he's dead. And then he just found out from the last guy that someone took the money. And he's like, wait, what the fuck is really going on? Mm-hmm. It's a lot more than just a random kidnapping now.
Mm-hmm.
So it actually is a little bit of a crime movie. He's also, it is like cold-blooded revenge and all this shit, but it's also like,
and my thing is, I never see it as a revenge thing. I understand why there's that take, but at the end of the day, this is just, I see it as a typical, I see it more as a detective story than anything else.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
The same way that I see Taken, which is, if I need to get my daughter, or at least get justice for my daughter, I have to go through these maneuvers, which is what a detective would do to figure out who's responsible and act accordingly. I just don't like the concept of revenge outside of the greatest revenge story of all time.
So I'm gonna ask this question both of you guys, but Papi, you go first. What does Man on Fire mean to you? Like I'm talking about the title. Because like Tony Scott is someone who thinks about like every fucking detail in this movie. Like it's obviously this title, he probably has spent some time, coming up with this. Why do you think this movie is called Man on Fire? And what does it mean for you personally?
A man on fire is someone you don't want to touch or mishandle. Let's put it that way.
Nice. Mm-hmm.
So the same way that I can build a bonfire, I can be smart and use the fire, or I can disrespect the fire and it will lash out at me.
Nice.
And as simple as that for me. But actually, in a general sense, not as it relates to the movie, but a man on fire is that guy that is just this incredible force moving through the world. And again, you got to respect him, otherwise you get the wrath. But if you handle that fire correctly, if you let it shine and roar, you get heat from it. You get energy from it.
Nice take. I like it. Jason, what about you?
I would think similar. It's a man of, like, relentless is a good way, but the man on fire is a man on a mission. Is that if you get in the way of his mission, you're going to get burned. And if you help him through his mission, his fire is going to get brighter, and he's going to continue down that path.
Oh, yeah. Samuel Ramos. Sorry, I'm distracted. Yeah, but absolutely. I like what you're saying.
You guys also,
Ramos, is he looking at his face? He's like, she was supposed to be having ice cream and having fun. She wasn't supposed to die. And you can just tell he's a man who never took fucking responsibility.
Oh, yeah. Which she already knew before this scene. And now she just has to deal with the consequences.
Yeah, this is for me, I think, also what happens afterwards with Ramos, and Creasy kind of initiates it. It's where the movie gets the darkest, I think, because all those revenge killings from him. it's like you can even laugh about it. Like, oh my god, he uses 2 fingers and all this stuff. It's all cool, but this is where I don't laugh at all. This is where it gets really serious, really dark, and Also, I really like that Creasy like pre-assumes. Yeah, I know that you're gonna kill yourself. Let me help you. He knows. It's so dark. Oh my god.
It's probably the lowest.
Just
point
the
of the
wife
movie.
is so pissed because she's looking at him. She's just like, "Why didn't you tell me?" And he wouldn't even admit the truth.
Yeah, you're right. This is the lowest point of the movie. Like
Yeah.
even the final scene, it has more, let's say, joy
It does,
than
absolutely.
this warmth, whatever the right word is.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's a dynamic movie.
Oh, so many dynamics.
Yeah. I always wondered this though. Like, are people actually committing suicide? Are they falling on their sword, as it were, like they used to? Because you see these scenes in movies where it's like, all right, I'm gonna leave you with a gun and one bullet, and I'm just gonna walk away, not expecting you to shoot me in the back or something. And they actually go through with it.
Well, it's very. There's a lot of meaning and deep. Like you look at him, he's in his room, and aesthetically, it's this Catholic room with all the candles, and there's a lot of emotion, and there's a lot of biblical, idea and ideology going on. He wants to feel like the best he can. For him to shoot himself and kill himself in his room, it's very. I feel like I'm lacking the words to really translate it, but it's very powerful that and then he ends up giving him the bullet that he should have killed himself with, and it reuses the same bullet. So Creasy, in theory, the bullet shouldn't work again because it's already been a dud once, and he gives him that bullet to see what.
Oh, snap, son! I like that. I like that. Keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I'm just like, damn.
He pulls out that same bullet that should have killed Creasy, but it didn't kill Creasy, and he puts it in the gun and leaves it with him. He's like, at a scientific level, that bullet shouldn't be able to be fired again. But then he leaves it with him to see what happens.
I was gonna say this scene is poetic, and then you just took it to a whole new level for me.
Because he says that line, "A bullet tells no lies." It's like, is it your time? He puts the bullet in the chamber.
It's his masterpiece.
Oh my god.
Like that's a level of art. He's not just killing people. He's surrounded by death, and he's helping facilitate it. He's letting other people kill themselves if they so choose, and he's making it very artistic. He's flipping everything to that side. Cool, you're the mob boss mafia guy who's in charge of a reign of police officers that kidnaps people. Well, I'm gonna shove a bomb up your ass and leave the remnants, and so I'm gonna remind you that power doesn't mean anything to me. To corrupt.
Whoa! Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Excellent take, Jason.
This was one of those movies that I saw a lot of deep meaning in multiple levels.
Also to see that his wife, she doesn't really grieve over his death. She's like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. He has been dead 10 minutes ago for me. It's really interesting. Nice detail there.
I'm reading into it. I'm like, no, that relationship was dead a longer time ago.
Yeah. I gotta say, this is like one of the things where, like I said, it's a really dark moment. But in the end, when we find out that Peter is alive, this is where I would like, yeah, guys, did you remember this guy killed himself out of guilt? Do you remember? This is a little bit like, oh,
he could have saved face and everything would have been fine.
Yeah.
But no, it's all over.
Sure.
And that's why I think it's so poetic. I think it's beautiful. I think it's the way it should be. Yeah. Because there's no happy family dynamic after you find something like that out, even if you get the girl back.
I agree. Yeah. And from a certain point of view, from a very dark point of view, you can almost say that Creasy kind of comforts him in this moment. He's like some kind of dark angel that's the only person he can talk to anymore, I'm talking about Mark Anthony's character. He doesn't have his wife anymore. He lost his daughter. Creasy's like the only one who comes to him, like comforts him, like, come on, son, here, take the bullet. It's very comforting way. Yeah. So you could almost say that Creasy's not up for death. He's up for justice, some kind. I don't know. Yeah.
I'm glad they don't speak to it.
Yeah.
So I just treat him as a soldier. He does what soldiers do. They don't stop until the job.
They show how they bug the house after they get the information, and they know who the voice is. They're just watching Creasy do his thing, and they're like, well, we got information off Creasy. Let's see what we can find. And they're like, They're riding it out for their creativity just to see what they can find, and we have this man. Now we have to locate him.
I like this.
And then she's she gets threatened. Don't put his face in the newspaper, or if you care for your life.
Yeah, and we know how it plays out. I just need to know these journalists that are actually willing to put their lives on the line.
I don't think there's that many.
There's like 10, or that we know of.
Yeah, that are willing to die for greater justice. Because if he had shot her right there, it would have been up anyways. It would have been like she died doing what she cared about and blah 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 for putting this picture up. So then she's just like, well, whatever, post the picture up anyways. And part of me says this is what keeps the story going, is that she puts it up knowing Creasy is out there. Because then later that night she says, Creasy, take a look in tomorrow's newspaper, you will see the picture of the voice.
Yeah.
She's basically also like covering her ass. She's protecting herself, giving him ammo.
So in the end, she's selfish anyways.
Well, I think everyone wants to live.
Yeah, interesting question, Jason. Do you think Creasy wants to live?
Yeah, that's a weird one to take, because I think he thirsts for a mission less than he does about living. Because this fills this gap for a mission. I don't necessarily get the vibe. Not without PETA. PETA gave him a reason to live again.
There's the scene when they're like having barbecue around a table with Christopher Walken's character. And it's like really enjoying things. Like they talk about like casual stuff. And you can see Creasy genuinely enjoying life again. This is where I was like, yeah, he enjoys life. He wants to live. Right now, he looks to me. He looks like he's on borrowed time. Just wants to make the best out of his. He looks like a dying man, trying to take as many men with him as possible.
No, I don't think of it that way. I really just keep it as simple as a man just doing. It's just business. This is just business.
Yeah, I don't think the borrowed time as much as he's focused and determined.
Yeah, the question I'm asking myself is, of course, this is like a way to portray that time is passing in the movie, but they always show him in the pool. They show him like 3-4 times in the pool, doing like some kind of exercises, and you can always see him bleeding, which I don't know if maybe it's some weird symbolic thing or stuff like that. I don't know.
That's something I didn't understand. It's one of those things where it's just like, all right, the director is doing so many good things. Go for it. Have fun.
Same here. I cannot quite tell you what it is.
It's a weird prayer or something. Like it's just this is how he grieves. He had to go for a swim before he could. He had to cleanse himself, if you will, before he went into battle.
Yes, for me, this demonstrates his vulnerability. You can see Creasy is someone who actually bleeds, and
where he gets shot.
I don't know if you're at the scene now where he's at the house from Rudder. This is where you kind of could say, he's losing his cool, but kind of.
Listen, I don't know. I've been through a lot of pain in my life.
He's frustrated.
I wonder how cool I would be if I took a shot to looks like his shoulder for the most part. Not even his shoulder, but like his ribs. So I hope I'd be that cool.
He just barely dodges out of the way of his Volkswagen, while the guy basically gets pummeled by a truck much bigger than Volkswagen. Just looks on his face and his body, you can tell that accident took a toll. Like it fucked up the body.
Yep.
At this point, Creasy's like, my job's made a little easier, but I still got shot, so I'm a little pissed off. And I love how, like, as he does that, he takes him out of the car and brings him inside. All the people out there in the street, they don't care. They don't fight for him. They're just like, yeah, fuck him.
Yeah. Okay, so in terms of his energy, granted, I never grew up with this experience, but he just looks like when, as a kid, you break something of your dad's, and then he's mad, but he knows that he still loves you. That's what he looks like in this scene. So I don't think of him as him losing his calm, as much as just him recognizing the bigger picture.
He's just like trying to get out information, and he's like, okay, because with every other person, again, this is like this gender thing. When it comes to women, he don't touch them. He doesn't touch them.
Yeah.
It's again the same thing. So he's trying to
Right
abuse
here.
her in some kind of different way.
He puts a gun to the brother's head and threatens it.
That's funny
Daniel,
because
what?
he didn't need to do that
Okay.
before. Yeah.
Yeah, but she comes
He didn't need to do that.
but she comes across as very cool. I don't think I
Well,
don't
she
think
comes
That's
across
why he knows he can't trust her.
prepared herself.
Any woman that's this cool around violence is not a woman you can trust anything
right,
she says.
right.
I think that's just a good survival tactic for everyone listening.
So guys, if you're ever in
Oh,
a situation
yeah.
like that,
Exactly.
so if Denzel Washington ever
You
comes to your
remember
house,
training, you know it. Am I lying? Listen, I'm always paying attention to how people respond to things, and usually it's a reaction, not a response. So it's like when people act way too cool, I'm like, all right, they might not know everything that I know, but they know a little bit more than the average person. I got to pay attention to this kid. Oh man. And sure enough, she waits for her husband to get shot before she's like, here, take the money, take the money.
Yeah.
Like, bitch, if you really cared, why'd
Wait
you
for
do
his
this the
hand
first
to get
5
blown
minutes?
off by a sawn-off shotgun.
Point blank range.
Yeah, plus it's a pregnant woman as well. It's crazy.
Yeah.
This reminds me of what do you call it? Child Rebel Soldiers, where it's like you have a 7-year-old with an AK-47 in the middle of Senegal, and he's trigger happy.
I mean, I'm almost.
he's.
Yeah. Jason.
I still like the scene. Still says a lot. He's like, I want you. And he puts on the phone. He finally gets a phone call from the voice. He gets the wife talking. He's like, what would you like? How much money would you like? And he's like, this is a man of action, not words. He's just like, yeah, your brother wants to talk to you. Takes the voice, puts the phone to his brother, and then blows his hand off.
Yes.
Basically, like, no, I want you. I don't give a fuck about money. I will burn it all down.
He's
like, that's a
efficient.
certain amount of relentless.
I like how effective it is. It's like, I don't have a lot of minutes on my phone. Because remember back in the day, you had to pay for your minutes? So it's like, we need to speed this conversation up.
God bless this flip Motorola mobile phone there.
They could add so much humor to the movie if there's like, hey man, you got 5 minutes, make it good.
Exactly. I spent it all on this bouncer to get inside this rave.
Knox, I know you said Knox, I know you said in the beginning of the stream time doesn't exist and stuff like that, but in this movie it does.
I will say that this is certainly a classic. Yeah, me and my children will be watching this. Yeah.
Oh my god, we're approaching the final scene right now. Crazy.
Yeah, it's a hard one. And my thing is, I see the shot, he loses his fingers, and on top of that, he gets the heat from the blast.
Yeah,
but that's
so
just me as someone who understands how firearms are. So I'm like, yeah, that's rough, that's brutal. And now she wants to give up the money.
Well, and you top it off, the heat from the blast, the guy's probably just lost quite a bit of hearing now, too.
And people, that's the thing you don't get from the movies. Well, every now and then they put in that loud king.
Insanely loud guns really are when you're not wearing hearing protection.
Yeah. That's why I hope none of us ever have to go through any of that. But I mean, honestly, I've heard I don't know, I know some guys that have been through some shit, and their hearing isn't as bad as I would expect it to be.
What? The amount of times, here, use these little orange earplugs. It's like, wait, you don't have the muffs? It's like, no, just use these. Like, oh, I'm going to regret this. Took me a few times to realize I need to buy my own pair.
Oh, man, you learn real quick. But at the same time, when you hear from the soldier's perspective, it's all about, if I wear ear protection, my ears are safe. But if I can't hear my surroundings, I'm not safe.
Exactly.
And I'm like, damn, I think about that too. I think about that. I don't know about y'all, but back in the day, I used to play video games. And in some of the games, they would have the footsteps of your enemies. So I would always pay attention to that more than what my eyes showed me.
Boom.
And I'm like, damn, if this is true to life, then yeah, absolutely. I don't want to wear ear protection if I can help it.
Guys, do you remember? I don't think anyone has seen this movie like only once. Did you guys see the twist coming?
The father twist or something else?
No, like the twist that the little girl actually lives. Did you guys see it coming, or because
it's hard to tell?
I don't know. Like I can't fucking remember, man. That's the problem.
Wait, that's a twist. That's the plan for the movie.
Yeah, I mean, like, did you guys see it coming that the little girl was actually alive the whole time?
It was too long ago for me to remember. And you know what? I want to say I never saw this in theaters. I think I saw this as a TV movie, and it was already playing at the end.
Same here.
So
yeah.
I don't think I ever saw the beginning until, like, I don't know, more recently. But the first few times, I think I always saw it on TV out of order.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a really good question.
Yeah, I really want to erase my memories. Watch this movie for the first time. Would I have seen this coming? It's because it's yeah.
Because I think the first person is the club owner or whatever, that dude at the rave. I think he says that she's gone. I think that's the first time that the concept is introduced. Everything is implied. So yeah, I think I would believe it too, simply because the main character believed it. And it's just safer to assume she's dead.
Well, there's the funny part is that no one at one point described how she died or this or that.
Yeah.
And then he wants a proof of life. It's like, what's he call her bear? What's he call her bear? Her bear. It's like Creasy bear. They call her bear Creasy bear. And it's like that was like that moment that really fucked with his head because he knew it was real. Because she called her Creasy.
You can't fake that. No, he's smart. That's a good question to ask.
He could also.
My thing is,
yeah.
I want to raise my children to like have codes with me, so that way if shit goes down, I can know what kind of situation they are. So I'll be like, "What's the name of your bear?" And then there are 5 different options. Whatever you give me will tell me what kind of situation it is and how to handle it.
Yeah, when you're losing sleep or you're busy traveling the world, and you come home and see your kid. I totally believe that's what will be on your mind.
Oh man.
Am I the only one who, the movie is called Man on Fire? Am I the only one who sees the fire coming back to Denzel in the moment the voice says Creasy bear, and it's like bam, the fire is back.
The heat is back.
I feel it, like his emotion, his happiness, and then like on the bridge when he sees her. I mean, that's like a big moment for him.
Yeah, the tension is still high. I don't think like given Hollywood and all that, they wouldn't like show Peter being actually alive and then like being killed in the last second. That'd be cruel. But
they start shooting on the bridge at both of them. Just ruins the movie.
And then you see the mother going berserk, and she kills everyone. Oh my god.
Yeah, this one's a tough one. Because all I remember in my earlier viewings is there's got to be a way. All we need is some snipers. Are the cops going to show up? Like, there's got to be a way we can make this work. Or is he going to pull out a gun and they shoot him? My thing is, I never want to be tortured by people like this.
Yeah. Well, he kind of just accepts it. He gives away his fate. He hands over his life. And I think it's weird. He knows he's dying. Like, he's been shot. And he'd already been, I think he's pushing the last bits of his body he can.
I know that feeling. And so I'm just
all
right.
Papi, you live pretty hard.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where that's the way I interpret it, is the way you said it. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to die anyway. So it's like, oh, yeah, you think you're going to get this big win for your team. I get the girl back. I can make that trade and feel good about it. But it's kind of like a game of chess, this movie, in that he's always... This is the end game is, I don't know, more or less when he gets the brother. But everything is the beginning game and the middle game, and he's just setting up his pieces, negotiating trades to the point where he's like, all right, if I want to the checkmate, sometimes you got to lose to win, as it were.
No, he won. Think about it. This came up in the beginning of the movie. I don't know why I'm just not thinking about this.
No, I agree. He won.
No, this is important. Though. Very specific. he spoke to Christopher Walken and said, "Do you think God will ever forgive us for what we've done?" So in the end of the movie, he sacrifices his own life and his health, and he ends up holding the cross on his neck, and then he walks away and basically hands over his life so she can live. You're telling me that's not a thing that God would forgive you? Like,
I like
this
that.
is, he technically he won. He wanted to be forgiven for what he's done, and this is his last mission he got to do. Yes, he got to do, but he got to be involved with someone he loved. Like she brought him back to life.
Yeah. And even if he doesn't think that he's necessarily been forgiven, he knows that he feels confident on on this being something worth presenting to God as, hey, at least I did this one thing.
He's very secure of where he's going afterwards, because she says I'm going home, and then Creasy says I'm going home too. This is not something someone would say when he's like uncertain about his fate. He knows he's gonna die, but he also knows where he's going to now.
He's just
very yeah.
And that's why it's such a heartfelt moment, because it's like he's still that strong man we began with. He isn't weak. He isn't bargaining. He isn't grieving. He's not angry. He's just a man that is okay with his choices, and he always has been. But it's good to make sure that he stuck the landing and he didn't become something like a whimpering fool at the end, like some Forrest Gump type thing, and he's just crying or something.
Thank God, man.
It would ruin it. And that's what I mean, that he's a soldier. And I say that in all the beautiful ways, because I don't necessarily think that I am, which is, regardless of the outcome, he's like, I own every decision I made to get here. Again, the ultimate chess game. Like, win or lose, I did everything the way that I needed to do. I made the best moves that I could in every situation.
Yeah, you were mentioning Machiavelli and all this stuff, and yeah, in the end justifies the means. And all he did was, bring him to this point where you could say, yeah, I won the game.
He did do what he's good at, and creatively piece of masterpiece by ripping apart a corrupt cartel in Mexico. I mean, that's you gotta love it. There's a certain amount of badassery to that.
On a slow Tuesday. Oh man! But even without seeing the whole movie, the first time I watched this, I was like, "Man, this is really tough." So it's like, even without having the first hour of the movie, like even the second half by itself gives you enough heart and respect and love for this character.
Yeah.
At least it did for me.
Yeah, but
then he dies on the way home, and for the way to wherever they're going, and which even shows that like the bad guys couldn't win.
Yeah, but there's actually never a moment in this whole movie where my empathy towards him breaks. I'm always feeling Denzel Washington, always. And maybe it's an actor thing because he's doing it so well. But yeah, also the story gives him whatever he does, however cruel he is, I can still empathize with him.
Look at this. He has more dignity than the brother. I really don't like the brother character.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit more. I hate him more than I do the journalist character. But it's he's whimpering. He's looking like Denzel ought to, but because he's not of that stock, he's like, nah, dude, chill.
Denzel's accepting his fate, and you can,
yeah. There's no cowardice.
Denzel accepts his reality. He's very stoic. It's hard not to look onto. It's very strong character, emotionally and mentally. I like the ending though, where in the final bit it shows that Daniel, Sanchez Ramos, whatever, the guy who was the voice, was killed during his arrest. It's like, basically, those type of people, those criminals don't go to jail. Those type of criminals are killed as soon as they're found.
Right. That's always the moment where I was like, oh, is this like a real story? And then I looked it up and I was so disappointed because this is like a made up story. Like, oh man, come on.
Exactly. I do want to read the book now.
Yeah, same.
I don't think I've ever read a book like that, but
I mean,
certainly.
for it to be real, you'd have to have a lot of things fall together for timing.
Mm. And there is that, what do you call it? That sense of grace and peace in him. We assume that he dies on camera as opposed to being tortured to death later.
Yeah. So guys, I don't know. You know what? I'm doing it anyways. The end credits are rolling for me now, and I'm gonna tell you the alternative ending now. It's the absolute greatest mess.
He is
So
Gonna ruin it.
you were recognizing that when Denzel was walking on the bridge, he was walking like a little bit. He was like he wasn't walking straight, right? And that's because in the alternative ending, he has a butt plug in his ass. And there is
Why?
yeah, let me finish. And
Wait.
so here's what happens. He doesn't die in the car. He gets taken away by this cartel guys, and he gets taken to the Voice, and they have a little chat about 2 minutes in the beginning, and in the final scene you just see Denzel checking his watch, and the watch just shows 4 minutes 58, 4 minutes 59, 5 minutes, and then you just see a bomb going off, and that's the end of the movie. And I was like, God, thank God they didn't choose this fucking ending. Like, you see all these heartfelt moments.
I don't like that ending.
Are you not good with the ending, with the original ending? You mean?
I prefer the original ending. I don't.
Yeah,
want to
sure,
hear
of
about
course. Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, I'm not gonna.
There's no honor. It doesn't feel like there's much honor as in the main ending.
Yeah.
Of course not.
God damn! Like they had to ruin the ending.
Totally. So glad they didn't went with that. Oh my God.
Okay. Credits on my end. Yeah.
Yeah, I got credits here. I still like the ending 'cause it's where he literally dies and hands himself off, but he literally leaves a bread trail of crumbs, like a bread trail of crumbs for the government officials, investigators, whatever, to know exactly where the Voice is. They can just go deal with it themselves.
Right.
Like character-wise, story-wise, it's powerful, and the character is amazing. I think he's so strong and so stoic the whole time.
Gosh, I'm living in awe because of the movie, man. It's like sometimes I just watch a movie and whatever, get back to real life. And this is always a movie where, it kind of leaves me a little bit speechless in the end. Want to be a little bit for myself, thinking, reflecting on my life and all this stuff, on my decisions I made. Man.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one.
It's a creative story. It's very well done. The details, they all match up in a line. Like the cinematography, you guys make me think about it more. I do like the cinematography really well in here.
So does Tony Scott do his own work, or does he hire the same DP?
Ooh, take a look.
I mean, you can always tell it's a Tony Scott movie, right?
Tony, stop. Wait, what?
Tony, stop.
Yeah, Tony Stark. No, Tony Scott.
Yeah.
But in no other movie he was being like this flashy, this much editing and all this stuff. And I can totally see, like, I agree with you, Jason. I love the cinematography, but I can also understand someone saying, "Yeah, I get headaches from watching this movie." I can totally understand both sides.
Oh, it changes shots so much. It'll be a close up on the face,
Yeah.
Broad wide angle shot, and then go right back into like a broad shot where it just shows them a little bit of their body what's doing. Like, it's so much movement.
But like I said, this whole sense of you get a sense of disorientation, but it adds to the character of Creasy because we are experiencing this whole story from his point of view, and he's a recovering alcoholic, and this is what it looks like for a person like that. You see everything flashy and all this stuff. Yeah, strobe lights everywhere. It makes sense.
I don't think he's ever done a movie that didn't make sense for that. But at the same time, clearly he chooses certain stories. I think he also did with Washington, Pelham 1, 2, 3.
Hmm.
And it's that same
Oh.
energy.
Also, Enemy of the State with Will Smith.
That was Tony Scott?
Yep. Yep.
Really? Yeah, that was a well
I thought
done.
it was Jerry Bruckheimer?
Oh,
No,
it was
okay.
co-produced by him. It was like a yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Bruckheimer has a very notorious actiony style where it's flashy, actiony, and powerful story to actiony. It's a little over the top, but he's got a style.
Oh, snap. All right. Yeah, this is interesting. All this to say is, it's funny. I used to have an encyclopedic knowledge about different actors and directors that I enjoyed. These days, I don't. So I don't know how Tony works per se, but he's definitely. It seems like someone he works with different people on every movie, but he has a voice and he's well aware of how to make sure the DP knows what they're doing to capture that.
Well, he
And
had.
then I think it's more so editing than actually what's done live. I mean, if we're really being honest about it.
So I don't think I have to ask the question whether it's Tony Scott or Ridley Scott for you, right? If you had to choose, of course.
I'm trying to think of everything Ridley's done, but it's easier to say Tony Scott.
Tony.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
how
but
about,
hasn't Ridley done some really good stuff too?
Who?
I'm trying to think what Ridley has done.
I mean, all the big.
Alien,
You know what?
Gladiator.
Me and David had a conversation about this. I don't know how Ridley Scott has work. Like, I don't know why his career still goes on, because he's the one that did Alien, which we love talking about. He did, I mean, the recent versions of it. He did Blade Runner, and he informed what the sequel was supposed to be. But whenever you look at those movies, critically, fantastic. But when you look at the numbers, they never make any money.
Mm-hmm.
So Ridley Scott has got to be either the most charming, or he just, like, I don't know, he has something on everybody in Hollywood. And so they're like, all right, we'll
work with, you know.
maybe that's, but on paper, there's no reason why he should have 40 years, maybe 50 years now in Hollywood.
Yeah, why does this stuff keep not making? Well, in a film, like it's like music business. You could make a good film, have great money, marketing, everything. Just no one likes the story. No one likes this actor this year, and you just flopped.
Yeah. But no, they respect him, or if that's the right word, and they keep on giving him work. But if any of us did it, I don't think they would be so tolerant.
What would you say, like, in terms of work? Like, okay, I don't want to compare any movie to like Man on Fire from Ridley Scott, but what do you guys think is the main difference between those two brothers? Like, in terms of telling a story. I know it's a very broad question. I'm aware of that.
I'm gonna look up what Ridley Scott's done, because I think he has a few that are more similar to Tony.
Like Gladiator, American Gangster. There you go. Hannibal.
Just bring up a personal favorite of someone who every movie he's made has been a masterpiece, whether or not it's been financially, but it's Guy Ritchie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to look up the numbers on some of his stuff, because I think he's had similar numbers on his movie.
I'm gonna take a look. The Duelist, Alien Bar. Oh, he made Matchstick Men. I really do like that movie.
I'm definitely team Tony.
No, you're right. Based off of what I can see of Ridley, absolutely. The difference in styles is, I think, Tony Scott is frenetic in all the ways that I enjoy, that actually vibe with me. And it's really hard for the average person to make messy look cool. It's that Italian, what's that term? I don't speak the language. Sprezzatura? Sprezzatura, where it's effortless swag. It's the way that you cuff your jeans in such a way that even though you probably spent 10 minutes figuring it out how you were going to do it, when we see it,
it looks as if he just threw it on and it just landed that way.
Yeah, the out of the bed look, right?
But you just do it with such a swag. I love Italian style for that. I love men's Italian style, the way they wear their suits. That's always been a way that it informed, all right, this is the way I'm going to dress.
Yeah, I'd say, like, when I think about his movies and then I compare them to Ridley Scott, Tony Scott's movies seem to have like some kind of character to them. There's like, I know this is like so subjective what I'm saying, but they seem to have like some kind of personality, some kind of character. Whilst Ridley Scott, it's like just very, what can I say?
They're all more fun.
You mean Tony Scott movies?
Yeah, I don't like the movie Top Gun, but it is a fun movie, and I can understand why.
Yeah, I would say Ridley Scott takes himself too seriously as a filmmaker.
And that's what I mean. It's like, how does this guy get paid?
Yeah.
I don't know what he's like in real life, but I'm just like, I don't understand why people keep on giving this guy more work. I don't disagree with his work, but I know it's not for people. Like, it's not for the same person that wants to see the Fast and Furious sequel.
Yes.
But I will say, I think I prefer Ridley Scott to whomever's behind the Dune movies. The Dune movies are the full representation if Ridley Scott like had no bounds.
All right, I haven't seen it yet. I'm still behind.
Oh no, I never will. I'm just letting you know. Like, listen, I learned 30 years ago. It's just not for me.
Yeah. It's very
I'm not
like
even gonna read the book.
It's this kind of movie that when you understand it makes you feel intellectual, you know.
Yes, and that's what I learned this week. People have been talking about it, and I'm just like, oh, which just makes me dislike it even more. Because I think I do get it, I just don't like it. It's not for me.
The director of Dune, it's like this French pronounced name, Denis Villeneuve or some stuff like that, right?
Yeah, I love that director.
He did one good movie in my opinion. He did Prisoners.
What?
And the rest, one. Fuck everyone. Fuck every other movie of him. I've seen Blade Runner. I've seen I've seen Arrival. Fuck all this shit, man. It's boring.
Which one
it's
did you like?
Prisoners with I think it's Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal.
Okay, so that's new to me. But what about
Arrival?
Man. No, I mean, yeah, that was interesting, but I've only seen it the one time, so I know it wasn't for me. Before Arrival, he did with Benicio del Toro. What is the name of that movie with the soldier? Assassin. What's it called? The Spanish word for assassin. That's the name of the movie. But anyway,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Him and Josh Brolin.
Sicario.
Sicario. Yeah. Hitman.
That
there you go.
Amazing piece.
And I believe that's Denis. And I love his sound design and the way he frames moments. That dude is eerie. But yeah, I don't like most of his other stuff, but I've seen it at least once.
It's this pretentious, overrated. I just have a problem with people looking into nothing for 5 minutes every 5 minutes. It's just that it always happens with these movies, and they are always so long. I've been to Blade Runner in cinema in 2017. I was constantly checking my phone, like, how long is this movie gonna be? I was trying to get some internet in to see what is the runtime of Blade Runner 2049, so I could get out there without
That's
looking.
Funny. That's funny. That's why I didn't like the original Blade Runner. It's just so much harping on all this like low energy.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh man, it makes me depressed, so I don't want to watch.
Yeah.
Blade Runner is kind of depressing.
It looks so gorgeous, really. Like every shot is a fucking painting, but it's boring, man.
No worries,
For me, that was the saving grace, is that the second one is brighter than the first, so I didn't feel as depressed. And I don't understand what was going on. Or no, I know what's going on, I just don't care about it. And I don't know why, being smart, we always have to like go to this depressing world.
And
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know.
like fucking Ryan Gosling having like one expression on his face for almost 3 hours. It's just not what I want to see from a movie.
So you know what? Oh, okay. I hear what you're saying, and I also think about it from an actor's perspective, and I'm like, his acting is really good because he actually behaves like a robot from the first time you see him on screen, and like he's waking up as if he was a Mac computer being turned on, and I was just like,
Really
fuck.
dry.
And I was really impressed by that. So it's one of those things where sometimes your best performance is when you're the least human.
I gotta give you that. Yeah.
Man, and that's why I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it's so good at what it does that you realize, one, this didn't need to be made, and two, the story itself isn't good. But like everyone did their role, from the cameraman to the actors.
Yeah, but for some reason I cannot be friends with this director. I don't know why. It's
Like, you're right. It's funny. You just pointed out all the stuff that he does. But yeah, Tony Scott's movies are just more. I always go back to the word joyful, not because there's like this hopeful ending, but it's like if your 7-year-old self had the opportunity to make a movie, like what would that movie be? You'd be like, hey, you get to work with Eddie Murphy. He goes like, cool, let's do a Beverly Hills Cop. And it's like, you're gonna be a cop. And it's just like all these fun ideas that the average person wouldn't think because they would take themselves too serious. And that's Tony Scott.
I fully agree with what you said. Yeah,
At least earlier on, I see it. Top Gun, Beverly Hills Cop. Yeah. Oh, he did True Romance. How did I forget that? Yo,
That is.
please go watch it. It's Tarantino's first film, but he didn't direct it.
Yeah, it's like the script is by him. Yeah.
So imagine if you've ever asked the question, what would a Quentin Tarantino script look in someone else's capable hands? And then you have that.
Nice combination there, isn't it? Like Tarantino and Scott. Like, no wonder this movie. Yeah.
Oh, Enemy of State. You did say that. And look at that. Enemy of State is like a nice... it's him honing his craft to get to Man on Fire.
What is you said you watched Pelham 1, 2, 3. I didn't really like it. What is your take on the movie, like real quick?
I still haven't seen the original, but I mean, I think it's just one of those things where everyone showed up, they did their job really well. I don't think it's a movie that anyone is trying to like run home about and be like, yo, this is important to me. But I will say this, a year after that, he did another movie, which I do enjoy, but no one else cares about, The A-Team.
You're right, I don't care about it.
Exactly. But my thing is, I love the TV show. So if there's a and it definitely doesn't do any respect to the TV show, but it was the title. They had me at the title, so I was happy about that. He didn't direct it; he just produced it.
I see. Yeah. Oof.
And yeah, I saw Top Gun for the first time earlier this year.
Are you gonna watch? Are you excited for the second part? Actually, bringing back Val.
I don't know what that means. Yeah, I know it exists, but I don't really know what that means. So we'll see.
It's the inevitable sequel, which is of course coming, man.
The inevitable sequel.
I mean, they brought out Dune.
Goose is not really dead.
Dude, they brought up Dune 3 weeks ago. They already announced the sequel, man. Yeah. I mean, what are you gonna do, man?
Yeah, that sounds more like, oh, we realized we could have done better 6 months ago.
Jeez, you're pushing for money so quickly.
Yeah,
absolutely. But hey, maybe they're just anticipating more lockdowns, and they're like, we need to keep these people entertained.
I think the icing on the cake was when they were announcing John Wick 4 and 5 as a kind of bundle already. So what kind of tension is there going to be in John Wick 4? Like, I know he's not going to die. There's going to be a second movie afterwards.
Thank you.
The fuck, man?
Thank you.
Point how much for.
I'm telling you, it's that it's like I don't know. We've never actually had a kind of year like that, but because of lockdown year, you have this thing where everybody still went to work in Hollywood, even though they tell us that they probably
not
didn't.
all of them. Some of them did, not all of them.
Oh no, fair enough. But what I mean to say is, a lot of projects got completed; they just weren't released. And so now they're like ahead of schedule. So it's this tricky line to play between how do we market this? It's not that we're making a fifth movie before the fourth. We probably always anticipated the fifth, except now they're going to come out closer together simply because they were shot during this weird year. Or this weird year just shook up the timeline.
Yeah, I think James Bond
I feel
is
like
like
we're
the perfect
talking
example.
as if we're in like a sci-fi movie, but like that's essentially the logic right now. There's this weird year in human history that forever reshaped the way that business was done in Hollywood. Like, remember the writers' strike a decade ago?
2009, I think.
Well, if you remember, the production union was about to strike all over the U.S.
Oh, that's right. Actually, what's the latest on that?
I'm a little off the date. I mean, I was literally funny. I was working on a film set, and I'm like, they're probably going to go on strike. I'm like, wait, what?
No, they're not.
Like, this is the first I'm hearing about this. They came to an agreement at like late one night that there's some sort of last minute agreement. I think it was just like they were pushing for more money or something. Because a lot of the film union people, they were working more than 12 hours straight. And then they're getting like 6 hours there to leave and come back. And they're getting tired of people like falling asleep on the road and crashing.
All 10 of them? Okay.
Well,
I'm pretty sure the numbers have got to be a lot less than they make them out to be.
I mean, they're nothing compared to the amount of, that Alec Baldwin has made sure to take care of. I mean, he's really cleaning it up to prevent the union from going on strike.
Exactly. I wonder what that's like. This hasn't happened since Brandon Lee that we know of, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's been on target every time, apparently.
Oh, man. I was saying that because I was just remembering Alec Baldwin at fundraisers, and he just went straight to the money talk. He wouldn't give you any small talk, like, because he's there as a face, right? So you want him to schmooze, get people all buttered up so they want to donate more. And he would just go up to him and be like, listen, we all know why you're here. So how much are you going to donate? And a cool dude, he just always shot from the hip.
Yeah, straight shooter.
Oh my god! Like this renowned actor, he became a meme within 5 minutes.
Oh man, it's a tough life. It really is.
Sure.
I feel for him. I don't know what that is. I don't know what the full story is, but it just reminds me of the DC Sniper, where I feel like someone wanted someone to die, but they had to make it look like an accident. And the DC Sniper, the reason he had more than one victim is one of them was his girlfriend, but he didn't want anyone to think that it was a jaded lover attack, because that would single him out real quick. So he had to make it look like it was all just random.
Right.
So I'm wondering, is this what's happening on Alec Baldwin's set? Is it Alec Baldwin?
Yeah.
And my thing is, why don't more people know how to use a firearm? Because even if I'm an actor, I'm checking to see what I'm holding.
Especially after in the U.S., so many people bought them during lockdown and never took the time to learn that.
Oh, I believe it. I still get videos where people are like stunning in my.
But don't worry, if you come to Texas, we're pretty friendly. We'll make sure you know how to use one before you buy one.
Good. Go whatever means necessary. You do that. But yeah, I'm surprised people aren't shot. Actually, you know what? I got one this week where this guy's like, "Oh, what was it? Like ETH hit an all-time high." So he sends a video with him in some sweatpants with a gun, no trigger control, and I'm like, so I make a joke about it, of course, naturally, and then it's like 4 days later. And now I'm wondering, I haven't heard back from him. Is he okay?
Oh my god.
Yeah. All this to say, Man on Fire is a great movie.
Yeah.
Yo, yeah.
What is there left to say? This is, I think that's a good sign, because whenever like we discuss movies, for example, and then afterwards I'm like, yeah, there was this and there was that, and it happens very rarely that I'm watching a movie and I'm like, yeah, I'm okay with how this movie with how this movie is. There's nothing I would change, and it happens very rarely. And we talk a lot about movies on this channel where, there's a lot to criticize. There's a lot of good things and a lot of bad things. And thinking about Man on Fire, pretty hard for me to think about anything I would like criticize. Do you guys have anything, like any nitpicks, anything you would say, I would do this a little bit differently?
No.
I can't think of any real way to correct it because it hit its points. It was really, I think that's what I like most of it. I couldn't find anything to hate about it.
Yeah, again, we also have like the runtime, and Papi, I'm understanding where you're coming from and say, I want to have 90-minute movies. And then I could understand when people say, this movie is too long, let's cut a little bit out of it. But there's nothing about this movie where I say it feels stretched.
Exactly. And that's the point.
Yeah.
It's just easier to tell people do it short than tell them not to be stretched because,
right,
especially with creatives, they genuinely believe everything matters in that moment. And I'm just like, nah, we can get rid of a whole lot of this. Granted, I'm not going to go up to Zack Snyder and be like, yo, dude, trim this down. So, yeah, it is what it is. But, I mean, I think a lot of movies that we don't like would be so much more improved with like 30 minutes gone.
Yeah, just cut away some time. Boom, done.
Yeah, like for example, Justice League. Just cut out 4 hours of the movie, just 4 hours, and it's good.
Like I said, yeah.
I think Zack Snyder is like the last person on earth I want to have a coffee with. Like really, I'm not remotely interested in what this guy has to say. I just don't want to hear it, man.
It was funny. He came to my film school, and I was really like so indifferent to him and Karen. Like we get to see a free screening afterwards, like with one of his movies. I'm like, it's an okay movie. And then we're just like so mad. Like I couldn't get involved with any of the crowd because like I just didn't care. You can't make me care about this. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. That said, I haven't rewatched The Raid in a long time, but this makes me think of that. I believe that movie was 90 minutes long. Have either of you seen it?
Nope.
No.
Oh, never mind. Okay. So as a kid, the way I introduced it to everybody is that it's Quentin Tarantino's favorite action movie from Asia in like 2 decades. And it's just this 90-minute thriller where basically this cop has to get to the top level of this project housing where they sell drugs on every level, and it's just run by mafia types because I believe they're responsible for the death of his brother, something to that effect. But the story doesn't matter, but like how they build everything up, and it's basically like a video game, if you will. It's just this really tight 90-minute movie where some of the best action scenes you've seen in a long time. And the story is about getting to the top and killing the boss.
Huh.
Yeah. Like I think the first 2 minutes of the movie is like them outside the building. And then it's like, all right, let's just run it. And it's like hundreds of cops getting killed off well before they get to the 3rd floor. Check it out.
I will.
Yeah. But no, it surprised me too that this movie is longer than I anticipated without stretching into that territory where you're adding things that don't have significant meaning.
You talk about Man on Fire now?
Yeah.
Jason, you were about to say.
Everything had a purpose. It felt like really on point, and it didn't feel like it was a flash.
Mm-hmm. And see, that's the problem, for example, I have with movies like Dune. You don't have to see it. You don't have to actually watch this movie to understand what I'm saying here. But yeah, characters just looking at the distant thing, just like for 30 seconds. You just know you could maybe cut that out, The movie would still be the same.
Yeah. So I haven't seen the movie, but if you lived in that setting, why would you be so mesmerized at the same thing you've been looking at your entire life?
Yeah.
So at what point are you just going to move out of the neighborhood?
And we have like for
I don't understand why they always do that. It's like, oh, this means the character is just deep and brooding, and it's like, no, it's like they might be suicidal at this point.
And this is like the discount version of show don't tell. I mean, if you do it, like do it good.
Yeah, who's this for? It's not for the characters. It might be for the editors.
And then people come up to and say, "Yeah, you just don't understand." I'm like, I do understand, and there's nothing happening here. But yeah, that's Jason, what about you? Do you have anything to recommend? I already wrote it down. The Raid from Knox. Gonna look it up. Any hidden gem? Anything you wanted to share with us, man? Some kind of movie we should take a look at.
Like
maybe something.
I'm kind of at a loss.
Yeah, you go.
No, keep going.
No, like some kind of not so well known movie, maybe. I mean, The Raid. I think it's like it's not even an American movie. I think.
No.
It's like Indonesian, right?
Indonesian, thank you.
Right. So, Jason, in case you have anything like a kind of hidden gem, you could share it.
Wow, you don't get to say Indonesian movie that often.
Indonesian movie.
I was seeing it, and I was.
I've seen the movie, and I never called it that.
I have the Wikipedia page open, and I would say, oh yeah, Papi Knox has like recommended this movie. It's not an American movie.
Exactly. All I know is I didn't want to be rude and call it Japanese or Chinese. Or Korean. It's like, I know my Asian countries, and it's none of the regular ones that I talk about.
Now you're also referring to this Hungarian movie, I think, this Control movie. It's fucking great shit, man.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Kept me awake. It was like a time like this. It's now 4:30 a.m. in Germany. And I still remember it was like this time, and I was okay, I'm gonna give it 10 minutes, probably shit. Then I watched
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh man.
Excellent.
And actually, I think that movie is a nice, tight, and short one.
Yeah.
From a new director at the time. I wonder where that director is today, but that is a great way to introduce yourself. Because I think I saw it at a film festival.
You were telling me about this, yeah. You saw it like once. And I said like, yeah, you have like just a distinct memory, but there were like images in your mind. You still remember it. And I was watching the movie because you were texting me. And I was rechecking your message and like, oh yeah, this is what he was talking about. So cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Cinema's not the same as it used to be. How about you, Jason? I didn't mean to talk over your answer.
Yeah, there's nothing like really jumping at for GIFs. Oh, you know what I am gonna do? This is Halloween, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this for the record. Rocky Horror Picture Show is a trash movie.
Agreed.
It needs to be said, and it's not nearly said enough.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I honestly, I don't know. That's a whole thing, and that was before woke culture.
I've been tricked into watching it several times. Every time I've left wanting to have a lot of alcohol.
Yeah.
Man on Fire is a good polar opposite of that.
Yeah.
Are you guys gonna get into the spooky mood, like maybe watching some horror stuff? Is this like your thing? Or
It's funny because I was hoping this wouldn't go too long. I'm gonna watch Evil Dead after this.
Oh my god, yes!
Oh, okay.
Yes!
With my girl. We'll see if we'll pull it off.
Good
She'll
stuff.
probably fall asleep. But yeah, that movie is just that's my version of Rocky Horror, where there's a lot of weird stuff going on screen. I don't know if I should be enjoying it or not. And it just man, I have some friends that are very religious, and they're like, "Oh no, I'll never watch possession movies." And I don't really get that way, but that's the movie where I'm like, this just feels kind of real in a weird way that makes me uncomfortable.
Oh yeah.
If I had to fight the devil, I feel like that's what it would look like.
But that's the problem. I don't know if I'm supposed to be scared or I'm supposed to laugh at this movie.
That's the beautiful thing about it.
Yeah.
Especially the second one, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sam Raimi.
and the third
Sam
one.
Raimi, fucking genius, man.
And then they made that TV show. Now that you know what, it goes back and forth. It goes like serious, funny, serious and then funny, with the TV show being the fourth iteration of it.
Have you seen Ash vs. Evil Dead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did that get canceled? Because I feel like the story was supposed to continue.
Have you watched the last episode of the third season, I think?
I recall they were like maybe in some sort of mental asylum. They introduced a new female character.
Yeah. And
then I didn't like that season, but yeah.
I mean, neither, because like it's revealed that Ash has a daughter or some stuff like that. Like, okay, get away with this shit. At the end, they kind of like tease some stuff, but then it gets dropped. Yeah, the series was supposed to have a fourth season, but it was canceled. So yeah, but first season was the best one for me. Like, there's like a good dynamic between him, Dana De Lorenzo's character, and this other guy, this other Mexican guy. They have like a nice back and forth. I really loved it.
Yeah, and that was fun. And my thing is, and I think we've kind of talked about this before.
Yeah,
horror, like some of those episodes were better than like the past 10 years of horror cinema.
Agree.
Hands down. And it's just like they went all out on this series. Each episode was genuinely scary, and I was like, fuck. I was really happy for them. I'm not the biggest fan, but I did watch it.
Jason, what about you? Are you like a spooky person? Do you enjoy the horror stuff?
So I'm rough. I will actually, I enjoy Saw, or like Saw 1 and Saw 2. Like that's nice spooky. Like that, like, oh my god, it rattles your bones spooky.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I forgot about Saw.
Well, they did make like 12 more of them and kind of killed the franchise.
Oh yeah, they did. I will say this though, and I might be biased since I love Chris Rock. They did a new, it's like a reboot, if you will. It's a different character altogether called Spiral. And Chris Rock, I love his performance in that movie.
I'm trying to picture Chris Rock involved with that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, this is his best acting performance. But my thing is, I just like Chris Rock. Like, he's always himself, but in this movie, he actually does like go the extra distance. It just works in a weird way. It works.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah. Chris Rock movies don't get the love that I want them to get. Maybe that'll be another future topic.
Yeah, because Chris Rock he's got a variety. He's got some good serious roles. I mean, what was it? He did that one where he had to pretend to be his spy brother, like he's his twin brother. Now he's really good in his seriousness. What was the name of that?
That's new to me.
No, all right, I might be mistaken. Let me double check. He was with Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins. I don't think I know.
Totally, I feel like I'm messing up my actors now. No, yeah, he was in that movie. I gotta figure out what the name of it was. It was
Bad Company.
Was it Bad Company?
Yeah, it says for me, Chris Rock and Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, he did he was still playful in his charisma, fun style, but he played a totally different role. He played like a spy. It was really totally different role for Christopher Rock. Him and Anthony Hopkins had a good duo.
Interesting. And it's played straight, or is it a comedy?
It's not really intended to be a comedy. It's intended to be like a drama.
Okay. Yeah, that's totally new to me.
It's interesting. It has like a 5.6 on IMDb, so not really good. Oh, Joel Schumacher movie. Nice. Might give it a try.
He just didn't fit the agenda of Chris Rock funny, and they all hated it for that. Well, there's that joke that they all recommend, like when a movie trashes, they talk about Anthony Hopkins. And the Anthony Hopkins movie was great, but then it's like, yeah, man, the movie flopped. You know, Chris Rock was in it. And it's like, he jokes about how they give him shit for how his own movie flopped.
That's rough. Let me see. Yeah, but yeah, I've just loved all of his work. So he's just someone that I enjoy watching, especially when he was younger. He kind of had that thing that Eddie Murphy had, where he just had this free reign. It might just be that SNL effect. What I should say is SNL pre-2000 effect, where it's like it was a career launcher. And so he had free reign to write his own stories, tell his own stories, and it's cool because it's not something that you really get to see a lot of as a frontman.
Yeah. I mean, especially that involvement to that level of detail.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, but I mean, I love the dude from CB4. I don't know if y'all saw Top 5. Top 5 is one of those movies that I love it. I own it. Like it's just good. Oh, and then he had moments like New Jack City. What else did he do that I'm not forgetting? Yeah, he has a great career. Oh yeah, he was in Dogma, wasn't he?
So probably is Saw Spiral? Is this like a reboot or a sequel, or what exactly can I expect from this one?
Yeah, you got me curious now.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm kind of curious too because there is going to be another movie, and I think that movie will do better to answer it. But the way that I read into it is that it isn't necessarily a Jigsaw copycat. Jigsaw is the name of the serial killer from the original series, but it's someone that's doing similar things, and it centers around the Chris Rock character. That's all I'll say.
So officially, it's called Saw 9 Spiral. So it's like the 9.
They had
Yeah.
8 prior. I thought we were exaggerating. I thought it was
I'm losing my orientation when it comes to the Saw franchise. I don't even know where where exactly we are right now.
All I know is it has a different title, and they could easily make it its own spin-off series. So I saw it as a 1 of 2. There's no way to say it, but yeah, it just is what it is. I genuinely enjoyed it, but I like the Saw movies, so I was already going to enjoy it. It has a more grittier tone, and it's less about the killings and more about the story. So in the original Saw movies, they actually want you to care, so they have these long 5-10 minute scenes about people being tortured. There's none of that in this. It's very lean. And you genuinely are trying to figure out the mystery before it's too late.
Yeah, because the confusion and the puzzles, it's almost like watching an episode of House. It taking so many different turns. They're trying to figure out why something really happened. It's like, oh dear God. That's what I liked about Saw 2 is that he took them around so many twists and turns and journeys, and ultimately in the end, it like was a spoof to you because it's like, wait. I wasn't watching this whole thing happen in real time with all these people locked in his house doing crazy stuff. It's like, and then
Was that the second one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I liked the most. I thought it was later on, but yeah, absolutely. And then after a while, there are 2 or 3 that I didn't see in theaters, but I did watch, and when you watch it, you feel like you're watching a TV movie. And I was like, ooh, these are rough. So I don't even know what's going on in that series anymore. But having a refresher, like I said, Chris Rock is just really good in it, and it's a lot of fun. I just like seeing him act that way.
All right, gotta check it out. Saw Spiral and The Raid. Let's go watch them. Yeah, I need some.
That.
Yeah.
No, I don't really watch Halloween movies.
Yeah, I kind of want to, but apart from Sam Raimi movies, there's just like no. Yeah, they are the classics. You were mentioning to me like Halloween, all this stuff, Nightmare on Elm Street, and all this. But
oh, you know what it is? I don't think of it as a horror movie, but
slasher.
Night of the Living Dead. That series.
Yeah.
The original George Romero movies. Yeah, I really enjoyed them.
Oof. Genuine horror. It's really hard to pull off. They're like 99% of horror movies is like complete bullshit trash. I don't want to see it ever again. And there's like very few movies who get it right. I
have a week's
say again.
Horror is the movie Dawn of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
It's where they all become zombies and they all hide out in the local mall. It's probably been made in the last 10 years. I don't know why, but that one I have a weak spot for because it seems like most recent, most realistic.
Ooh, I like that. I wonder if you can relate to this. So the reason why I like those movies, those are the ones, I mean, those are remakes of the original ones that I was just mentioning. And the reason I like zombie movies is that
I mean, and you could say this about any genre, really, but it's not about the zombies. The real threat is always the people.
Mm-hmm.
And so you get to see human dynamics play out in a
In
way
real
that
time.
we all know them and we know what role we would play, but it's just fun to watch. It's like watching a documentary to me. In fact,
Oh, yeah.
I call them documentaries. And I'll be like, yo, you see what they're doing in Georgia on this documentary called The Walking Dead?
Oh my god, Papi, that reminds me of like one tweet of yours where you say documentaries to watch, and it's like The Matrix, Heat. And all that stuff. I like your definition of documentaries. I really do, man.
I love it too. I love it too. Yo, so it's just I guess a New York thing. Actually, no, I think I might be the only person that did it. But when you after studying TV and cinema and culture and sociology for so long, I recognize that news is not really the news. It's everything else that tells you the news.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Yeah. So why would I call it a movie as if it's fiction when these things are actually happening?
Let's see.
Also, I like barbecue, and for some reason, when I watch zombie movies, they make me hungry for barbecue.
So the question we need to ask is Saw a documentary or not?
Yeah. Saw Doc.
It's like, how did we get here? We're talking about Man of Fire.
Yes.
3.5 hours later.
Yeah, I don't take responsibility for anything I'm saying. It's almost 5 a.m. over here. It's yeah.
Yeah, soon you'll see the sunrise, and then now it's dark over here.
No. I'm still. It still takes a while. It gets bright at like 7 a.m. So yeah, still got some time.
Gotcha. The short answer to the question is absolutely yes. Saw as a documentary. It's basically woke culture taking revenge on other aspects of culture that they know that they can't do anything about in real life.
Nice take, yeah. And yeah, I actually mean it. I like your take on on the word documentary. It's like when I first read it, I was like, oh, that's a funny thing, but then it's like, yeah. It actually is a documentary.
If everything applies, it's real. Yeah. That's why it's always funny with The Matrix, because it's like all these kids are running around talking about red pill this, red pill that. And I'm like, did you actually see the movie? Because your life is very blue pilled. And it's like, is it just me? And for so many years, I just kept it to myself. But at this point, I'm just like, dude, you're not red pill.
This is like I was on a bus in Chicago, and it still makes me laugh. There's this kid, must have been 19, 20 years old. Didn't look very confrontational or whatever. Looked kind of anxious, headphones in his ear, and he sat down in the spot, like right next to my lawn. Didn't take up a lot of space. Really like blue pill body language. And then he sat up, and I see him wearing a Fight Club shirt that's clearly a size too big on him, and I'm like, oh my god.
Oh, you see, that's another one.
Proud
Yeah.
of the movie, but you are nothing about that, and it's like, not that I am, but it's like you clearly are not. You defeat the point of the movie.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't even use those terms, but it's just like, at least I know not to adopt them as if I were fully living them, because I respect the source material, and I'm just like, no, I saw the documentary. That's not me, but I do respect it.
Yeah, I think many people don't see the difference between, hey, just because I got the point of the movie doesn't mean that I'm not the target audience for people calling them blue pilled. It's everybody freaks out on the internet about this fucking stupid Netflix show, this fucking Squid Game, or what is it called? I swear to God, one fucking person comes up to me again and says, "Did you watch Squid Game? I'm gonna go crazy, man." Everybody comes up to me. Have you seen Squid Game? I said, no, I have not. I don't want to watch it. So apparently it's like some kind of survival bullshit. It's like, yeah, I take a look at the people who are watching this. Fucking fat dudes sitting on the couch eating like chips, and oh yeah, this is like survival. I feel alive now. Yeah, no shit, you do, man.
Oh man,
It's the irony, the irony.
No, absolutely. And for me, that's when I start calling it porn, whether it's the fan experience or the actual documentary is porn itself. I cited the example of The Equalizer, where I like the first movie. And I mean, it's Denzel, so I'm gonna be happy wherever he is. So I watched both of them. The second one, though, is just revenge porn. It's this happened in the news, and I don't like that it happens. There's no justice being served the way that I think it should be served. I have the ability to write a movie. Let me write 5 scenes about these 5 things that I don't like and force them into a story and have Denzel be the surrogate for us to enact the revenge that we want. And it's just like, it's just very, it's not hard to watch, but it's one of those things where you're just very well aware that's what's going on. And it's just like, damn, there are a lot of people that feel defeated and they really look to what's that conversation everyone's always talking about, representation in movies, and like to the point where even in The Equalizer victims need to be represented.
Oh my God. Jason, what's your take on the whole if I would say Netflix basically porn, would you agree with that statement?
Oh, it pretty much is. So it's funny, I still don't even have a Netflix account. I just use some old person's login I still have. And I refuse to watch it. I can't get into it. Like there's only one show that I got hooked into, but it wasn't a popular thing. It was like I got really talked into it. It was called Money Heist, and I'm like, okay, this is actually some very powerful storytelling.
I like the title.
Yeah, well, they basically break into where they print money in Spain, and they go in there and just print their own money. It's just like, that's a very creative way to actually steal money. It was very well done.
Cool.
Well, like I've seen so many, like I've heard of someone like, check this on Netflix or this on Netflix. It's like, what is this, like true crime? This other dumb shit. Like I can't. No, I can't keep up with the gluing myself with the TV bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, look, I can see people saying the same thing to me because, like a few minutes ago, I was like, hey guys, recommend me something, you know. But I think there's a difference between doing this. And every 5 minutes or every week someone comes up and says, hey, do this. Because actually what you were doing, Papi, you were saying, hey, check out The Raid. This is a movie I saw a few years ago, whatever. And what most of the people do, they're like going, I hate like trends and all this stuff. And it really, I don't know why I hate this Squid Game stuff so much, but maybe it's the fact that everyone watches it just because Netflix recommends it to anyone, just because it's like this thing. I think this is like my problem, you know. It's something different when you come up to me. Hey, Jason was putting out this tweet saying, "Hey, Man on Fire, look at this cool movie poster." I was like, "Oh my god, yeah, awesome!" You know, it's like, but I don't want to get this like, "Oh yeah, watch Squid Game." It's like this new thing. Watch it. You know, come on, man. I think there's a difference. It's hard for me to express what I mean right now, but yeah, there's a difference to it.
Yeah. And at this point, when I hear things like that, I just know that all the things that people like about it are probably the least rewarding aspects of the thing.
Correct.
So I have seen Squid Game, and I haven't had a conversation with anyone about it, simply because they're talking about all the opposite aspects that I actually think are worthwhile. And it's like, damn, this is going over your heads.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's for me, it's always the conversation we could be having versus the one we're forced to have.
Yeah, and also everything has to be like some kind of political nowadays, doesn't it? And I mean,
is a movement.
I haven't watched it, but it's like a fucking Korean produced movie, and from the few reviews I've seen, like you can't really avoid them on Twitter or whatever. And they all say, "Oh yeah, this is like a representation of capitalism and all this stuff." I'm like, I know it's not.
Why does every movie have to be that? Why can't a movie just be a movie?
Yeah.
Value.
Yeah. There's someone out there saying Man on Fire is like, this is like communism. You just have to look closely. This is a parallel for communism. I'm sure there's the kind of stuff, man.
Just enjoy the movie for once.
Yeah.
That's the type of creative I don't like. But like I said, that's nowhere on my TL. At the beginning, I reminded you to get new friends. Your TL would look a whole lot different if you just got a few new friends.
Yeah. I need to find
There's
friends.
no one talking about Squid Games in my arena. I saw it with my girlfriend, and even she's not really bringing it up. So it's one of those things where it's like, it's not. We got to get you to the States. Well, actually, that's not true. We
I
got to get you
agree.
somewhere else.
I agree, man.
Man. No,
He
yeah,
makes
just a fun
Ukraine
time.
sound pretty nice, though.
What did I say? What?
David makes the Ukraine sound pretty nice. So it sounds like someplace we should go check out.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, it is. It is.
I'm down for that.
You guys should go, man.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So yeah, guys, let's call it a night. As for me, let's call it a morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
It's been a pleasure watching. This is the first time we did a watch together. I want to watch more movies with you guys.
We'll just have to start them at the right time so we're not all 2 minutes off.
It's like, imagine us three like in a room, everyone on their own laptop. We're like having a conversation, like suddenly realizing like watching a whole different movie. You know?
Oh man, the hive mind experience. Well, thank you. Yeah, that was a fantastic time. You pulled out a movie I haven't thought about in a long time.
Yeah, thank you, Jason. It was Jason's tweet out of fucking nowhere, and
Yeah,
just because of that.
That's where you get your best ideas.
Yeah. Excellent.
Nice.
Yeah, it's funny. I said it in the beginning. The last time I was doing a stream with Jason, we did Lucky Number 11, a movie I completely forgot, and this one again. The last time I saw Man on Fire was precisely 2.5 years ago. I remember it very well. And it's funny, I didn't spend like any time thinking about this movie in the past 2 years. Then Jason was putting out his tweet, and I was looking up like a few scenes on YouTube, and up until this stream, I couldn't stop thinking about this movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just
Remember, bullet tells no lies.
absolutely, and it's just like memories coming back to me, and the more I remembered the movie, the more I appreciated it. Beautiful stuff, really. All right, guys.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure hanging out with you guys. Next time I need to bring some snacks, but yeah. Apart from that, I'm good. Gonna check out Saw Spiral. Gonna check out The Raid. And the last words are for you guys. Any last precious words to the Red Smoke audience? Anything you want to promote? Now is the time. Just go ahead, do it. Papi, you go first.
Cancel all your streaming platforms until I create my own. It'll be my favorite 100 movies. They will never change, and that's all you get to watch.
And Squid Game, of course, on this platform as well.
There's only one way to find out. But for $59.99 a month.
Oh my god.
Peace of mind. The best brainwashing you'll ever get.
You can also pay in crypto if you like, guys. It's okay.
Always. That's the only way you get access.
Half a Bitcoin monthly.
Can you do NFTs on a streaming platform?
Ooh.
We'll find out.
Jason, the last words are for you.
Good storytelling is timeless. Let's leave it at that. It's like the Beatles. You know, you could say Kanye brought back the Beatles. Like, no, the Beatles were bigger than Kanye ever could be.
Wait, what did he do with? All right, never mind. We're gonna start the conversation. We got to go up there. This is a private conversation.
Yeah, we'll have time on that. But good storytelling is timeless. It's like Man on Fire is a movie that doesn't die, and it doesn't have to be about communism or whatever. It's just good content.
Yeah, I'll be watching it with my great grandchildren.
Yeah, so some things really age well. And Man on Fire is one of those movies that does. I think the next time I'm going to watch it, maybe in 2 years, maybe in 2 months, I don't know, I'm going to appreciate it even more. I just have this feeling, yeah. All right. Before Papi Knox dissolves into like a singing his like best of album, I'm going to close the stream now. We're going to go private now. Thank you very much for listening to us, everybody. And yeah, we're going to be back next week. Maybe we're going to do it a little shorter, but yeah, like we learned today, good quality, good storytelling is timeless. So thank you, everybody, for listening.